Okay, hi everybody. Looks like the Bulls played damn well today, right? All right. Was not expecting this, honestly. This was quite a surprise for me. Bulls won a 3-point shooting contest with the Miami Heat and put up 133 points on the 10th rated defense in the league. So quite an astonishing victory, honestly. But Montes Buzelis was just insane this game. 10 for 10, 24 points. He got 31 minutes tonight, so we can all be happy with Billy Donovan and not be upset that Buzelis didn't get enough minutes tonight. So just awesome. This was awesome to look at for some of the future guys of this team. And it's honestly probably a feel-good win for a lot of these guys, as there is a ton going on right now with the trade deadline and everything like that. So I'm sure a lot of them were just happy just to go play basketball, and they got a damn good win in this one. So good job by a lot of the younger players to take advantage of the opportunity, right? This is really what we want to see consistently moving forward. I don't know if it's going to be consistent, right? But this is exactly what we want to see moving forward, with now Levine gone, but then also a lot of the guys were out tonight. No Dalen Terry, no THT, and then everybody that we traded for was not available tonight. So everybody that, younger players that weren't getting as many minutes, guys that are getting more opportunities on ball, they had to take advantage tonight. And I think you could say that a lot of them really did take advantage tonight. So I'm really happy to see that. So hopefully this is a good sign for a lot of these guys, and we can continue moving forward in the correct direction with these guys. So I'm really overall happy with how this game went. We are obviously going to be talking a ton about Buzelis tonight. I have a lot to just discuss with you guys when it comes to Buzelis' game. We can even get some film breakdown, honestly. It's mostly about the first half. I mean, the second half was mostly 3-point shots, which was awesome to watch. And then I think there's others to really talk about that I think did a really good job today of taking advantage of with more opportunities just in general. So I'm hoping to see more of it, right? And we're gonna get into, for sure, more trade deadline stuff that we can talk about. Casey Johnson put a tweet out in the middle of the game that I think is pretty interesting to look at. So I will be going over that and any other rumors that potentially are happening. And we will also then I won't be, yelling about the Zach LaVine trade anymore. That's not me saying that I'm like, oh, I'm okay with it now. No, I'm not okay with it now. I'm still pretty upset with the deal. I'm not very happy with it, but there are some things I do want to talk with you guys that I think is important about the deal itself. So we will be talking about that tonight. So before we get into it all, if you can hit the like button on the stream, please. It helps me out a lot here. I truly do appreciate everyone taking time out of a Tuesday night here to be with me. And come back here tomorrow as the Bulls play tomorrow as well. So be here. I appreciate y'all. So chat's already going insane. Okay, let me catch up here. I've been live for about 5 minutes, and my chat's already going nuts. So hold on, give me 1 second. It's going to Anthony. Damn, so Zach is gone. All of a sudden, everyone steps up. Gideon and Montes were cooking. Yeah, man. Like, it's good to see that when, well, I mean, Levine's obviously been gone for about, the 3 previous games, right? So it's about time that the others did step up, but also there just weren't a lot of guys available tonight. Billy pretty much only ran like an 8-man rotation for most of the game. There were 10 guys that did play, but Carter and Phillips only got 5 minutes each. And in that second half, neither of them played. So it was pretty much an 8-man rotation. So I'm happy that the guys did step up to the plate, right? And they took advantage of the extra minutes and extra on-ball opportunities that they got. So this was really good to see. Baltas Masterclass. Oh, absolutely, man. I am just, this is awesome to see from Buzelis. It gives me a lot of hope moving forward for him. I won't lie, man. I mean, you guys have been calling for the more isolation, on-ball opportunities. I was more just kind of hesitant, kind of like, I'm kind of just happy what he's doing so far this year. I don't want to push it for him. But if he's going to do this consistently, then yeah, absolutely give him the damn ball. Just let him go to work, especially against mismatches. That move that he had over Jovic, where he took it over Jovic with that arm, I was just like, oh my god, the wingspan is coming into play. It looked amazing, bro. So I'm hoping for more of that, man. And I'll be gladly just saying, go ahead, Buzelis, just go off from here on out if he's going to be obviously 10 for 10 shooting. So yeah, that was awesome, man. I have a lot of hope for Buzelis moving forward. If he can ISO efficiently and then also take advantage of mismatches, bro, like what we saw tonight, where he, if he had Jaime Jaquez, he just went after him. He had Terry Rozier on him, he went after him, right? Oh man, I'm feeling very good about him moving forward. But it's one game, and we've seen a little bits of this here and there, but there's a long ways to go, right? And I don't want to get too ahead of everything, but I am loving everything that we saw tonight, and we should absolutely be celebrating what we saw, and hopefully it's going to continue in that correct direction. Let's go on Viper Strike. Great, this was Io getting in Mata's game for sure. Vooch still in Warrior Zone. Yeah, I won't lie, bro. I'm not feeling too great about Vucevic at the moment, but we'll talk about that trade stuff in a second here. This is the beginning of a new era, baby. It is. We are definitely in the new era officially with the Chicago Bulls. I obviously, we're still a little bit away from the new era fully, because I do think there's some guys that still need to get moved. But for the younger players, though, we are officially in that era where we're going to see a lot of them. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Someone told me Macho's going to carry this team while Giddey scores 24. Kind of crazy. Yeah, it is kind of crazy to see a win like this, right? I'm pretty overall happy to see a game where, both of them score 24. And they're both shooting really efficiently. Or sorry, Giddey had 22. Excuse me. No, sorry. What did Giddey have? No, he did have 24. Yeah, Giddey had 24. Buzelis had 24. And yeah, they just look phenomenal out there. I do think Giddey, he did a phenomenal job of just attacking and getting the fouls drawn. So I'm hoping for more of that. He attacked when the defense wasn't set up for, he attacked in transition so the defense couldn't get set up. I need more of that from Giddey moving forward, but we saw a lot of that in this game. And then, Io only got 11 shots, which is kind of shocking because he had an efficient 10 points in the first half. But he got some pick and roll opportunities in that second quarter and just was taking full advantage of the Heat defense, which is crazy because, again, you're putting Bam Adebayo in the Heat in the pick and roll. That's obviously a pretty solid defender. That's not a guy that you just kind of oh no, it's all good. No, that's a very solid defender in Bam Adebayo. So seeing the guys attack Bam and attack this Heat defense, who again is the 10th defensive rating coming into tonight's game, it's great. That's awesome to see. And I'm hoping that we can just see more of this growth. It's one game, so I'm not going to be oh, we got Giddey scoring 22 from here on out, or Io's putting up 21 from here on out, right? But if we can continue to get more of this, then absolutely, this is great. But consistency is key, as we always say with all the younger players. Hello, is David. Thank you for beating Miami. I think you're new, Mango Man. Sure. I don't know. For us, honestly, it's probably not the best thing to win this game, but it's also not the worst thing for now. So we're still in a good spot in terms of trying to get lower in the draft standings, or lower in the overall standings and higher up in the draft standings. So overall, though, we'll definitely take this win, right? If the younger guys are playing great and the reason why you win the game, then you take the win for sure. There are very limited vets now on the team, but or at least who are available tonight. But obviously, if you're going to win a game, I want it because of the younger players, and we saw that tonight, which is great. I bet Billy starts Matas now. 27 points is crazy. So it is 24. I still don't think Buzelis starts, honestly, and it's not because of Billy's bad. I think right now, just with the current lineup in play, I still think that we see this lineup put out there tomorrow. I don't think that Buzelis is going to start suddenly tomorrow. I know a lot of people want that, right? I know a lot of people are asking for Buzelis to start right now, but I don't think Buzelis actually starts yet, and I'm honestly okay with it. I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, come on, Duncan," but I'm honestly okay with him not starting and him just getting a lot of minutes off the bench. Now, here's what I will say: if Kobe White is traded here, and if Lonzo Ball is traded, then I think it would be interesting to go ahead and start him. But I think for now, with everything that's just kind of with the current lineup in play, and I don't know what other trades are going to happen here, we might honestly only make the one trade, and that's just trading Zach. If this is the lineup moving forward, I think you just continue just to put this lineup out there. I think that's the best decision for everybody involved. So the only guy I can really see going back to the bench is maybe Lonzo, just due to the minutes restriction, but he's up to 28 now. So I honestly think that's enough where I could just be like, yeah, he could just start and we'll be okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna be calling for a Buzelis start suddenly after this amazing performance. But as always, though, when it comes to Billy Donovan, he better be playing Matas Buzelis a ton of minutes now. He cannot suddenly be like, oh no, we're gonna go back to 15 minutes again for him. No, he bare minimum needs to get 20 a night. but especially after this performance, he should at least get 25 to 28 a night after this performance. And you can do that with this current team now, especially with, Levine being gone and some vets, we'll see. I don't think Collins is really going to play. I don't know about Herter, but he probably will play. We'll see if Trey Jones is traded here, but obviously he's a guard, so he's not going to be taking Buzelis' minutes, hopefully. Still upset Zach is gone, but a good win is great for cheering up. I wanted to see Matas get 30. Oh, man, bro. I was hoping for Buzelis to end the game, bro. Like, if there's ever a game for Buzelis to go ahead and, play in crunch time, like, this is the game, right? Like, I think we can all agree, like, this would be the game to go ahead and put Buzelis out there to close the game out. And I was hoping that, Billy's going to do that with him and give him that extra run and see if Buzelis can hit a few more shots to get 30. But, yeah, it's, I'm not going to be too critical of it. Billy decided to do his lineup, which, he got the overall win and did pretty well down the stretch. So I can't be too critical at the end of the day. So, he did what he thinks is right. And I'm not going to stop that, especially if it works out pretty good. Hope Billy won't give Matas minutes to Herter today. Today, lots of people stepped up. Giddy had almost a perfect game on both ends. He actually improving defensively. We can never blame him for not trying. Yeah, I think Giddy, since obviously when I think it was the Cleveland game where he did kind of get benched, I think Giddy has done a good job of like trying on defense. It's just that there are still moments where you can tell that he's just lacking awareness. But I do think that Giddy is trying. It's just we've talked about it here, like just the lack of physical tools doesn't help him much there. Besides his height. But yeah, I do think Giddy is trying, and I saw it a lot today. He got that steal against Duncan Robinson early on, and that's what we just need. Like, we just need that sort of effort from him moving forward on that end. Again, we're not asking for a great defensive performance from him, but seeing the effort is just what we need. And he had to guard a lot of guys on the perimeter tonight, just kind of with the lineups out there. And Kalel Ware is I guess a center and a power forward with the lineup. It's kind of hard to kind of figure out, but with the two bigs. But yeah, I mean, I think Giddy did a really nice job, so good job for Giddy on that end, and just got to continue seeing that. Thank God we didn't play THT and Carter extended minutes. So Taylor Horton Tucker was out tonight, so I just want to put that out there. THT was out tonight. Carter, I won't lie, I don't know why you got minutes today. I was kind of shocked that he was put in the game. I actually was thinking with just the guys out, because like I got no Dalen Terry, no THT, and Smith was actually questionable heading into today. Jalen Smith was questionable with illness. But then you traded for Herter, Trey Jones, and Collins, but none of them are going to be suiting up for these next two games. So I was actually expecting that Liddell and Miller might actually play today. I was actually preparing for it because I was looking at the guys. I'm like, well, I don't think Javon Carter is going to get many minutes, and I know that Billy's been running like a 10-man. So like maybe we see like Liddell or Emmanuel Miller today, but we didn't get that. And instead, we did see Javon Carter for about 5 minutes, and I don't know why he was out there. My only thought, though, was just that maybe some team was like actually interested in Javon Carter. Like, it sounds crazy, but I was thinking like maybe someone is actually interested in him, and so they just kind of put him out there just to showcase the team or something. But yeah, I hope I don't ever see Javon Carter minutes after the trade deadline. He's had his nice moments throughout the season, the Atlanta game, but I don't really need to see him right now. I won't lie. THT is another guy that I probably am okay just moving on from him, and not really seeing I'm not really seeing the need to see him out on the court right now. But we'll see. I'm hoping that Billy does the proper thing, like you guys are saying. But Billy Donovan, his ideas. Yeah, we all have our issues. Which he had a funny quote that we'll go over today. Phil, breakdown, please. I'll get to it. I watched Miami stream, and they actually had words along the lines of that was great to help defense from Giddy a few times in the game. Yeah, and again, that's all we're asking for, right? I think there was a moment where Buzelis was guarding, I think, Tyler Hero, and Giddy stepped over like in the middle of the floor and like did a good job of cutting off Hero. That's what we just need to see, right? We don't need anything spectacular. We just need to see that effort and awareness of that from Giddy. So hopefully we continue seeing it. God, sorry. My chat just updated and it just went boom. Okay, well, I'm trying to get to everybody, guys. Even past positive tonight by Matas. Oh my Matas, I know, bro. I am very excited with what I saw from Buzelis tonight. And I'm hoping to see more. I want to see more from Buzelis. This is awesome just to think that if he can, you're not gonna replicate a 10 for 10 performance on this like level of play consistently, but This sort of play here though tonight was awesome. Like this was great. We got everything we need that we wanted to see. He got the ball more. We had him run a pick and roll set where he was a screener and rolled hard and got a layup out of it. He had him, a couple of dunks, right? An alley-oop in transition, and then Lonzo found him down low. And then the three ball was just going for him as the game went on. Like he hit his first three to end the half, right, where he hit the buzzer beater. And then, the three ball just continued to go down in the second half. So it's just is awesome just to see from Buzelis. And obviously career high. This is just great to see from him. And yeah, continue playing the man, because if you don't, Billy, I'm going to lose my mind. Billy Donovan better not mess this up after a career game from Matas Buzelis. You see Matas close. I also wanted to see Buzelis close. I thought he deserved it. But I also will say this is the one thing I will give Billy this, little thing. Buzelis obviously hasn't played a lot of minutes. Billy's fault. But, he played 31 minutes already before heading to the bench for the final time. So I wouldn't be shocked if maybe Buzelis was a little gassed. Because, if you don't play, consistently 30 minutes, it's a little harder on the body when you suddenly play 30 minutes. So maybe Buzelis was a little bit gassed at the end, and he's having a career game and doing a lot. So maybe that was the case. We might find out a little bit in the some of the quotes here in post game. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen Buzelis close for sure. Was interesting to see the Matas, Pack, Giddey, and Smith lineup with Io, some reasonable height versatility with Kobe off, etc. Yeah, I think honestly with that lineup out there, it is pretty interesting to look at. For the first time, you actually have some like versatility at the forward positions in terms of defensive versatility, right? With Buzelis and Williams. Smith is obviously pretty limited defensively, but if you do want to switch with Smith, it's not the worst thing in the world. And I think Io was honestly, for a guy in Tyler Hero who's having a pretty solid season and all-star, I think Io was on him like glue. So I do think with Io out there, he was really locking up guys, and I'm happy to see it. And he's got to continue to see more of it. Buzelis clearing the 1-3 plus dunk / block in the first. Oh yeah, AV Breeze, you cleared that. You cleared that thing immediately for Buzelis. Immediately came in, got the dunk. And then he got a block earlier on, and then he got the 3-point shot at the end of the half. So yeah, immediately in 24 minutes, just got it all done, and was having a phenomenal game. Having people in Matas playing next to Giddey seems to hide some of his defensive lapses. Imagine we added a rim protector in the draft. I will say, I don't necessarily know if we, especially in that first half, I don't know if I want to give too much credit in that first half for the defense. I think in general in this game, also the defense wasn't amazing from the Bulls. But I do think that Giddey was trying hard, which again is all I can ask for. And yeah, I think Buzelis and Williams out there, it does give you some versatility levels, and we did see more of it in the second half. But reminder to everybody in this game, I know it's a nice game for us tonight, but we gave up 70 points in that first half, and the Heat had 22 points in the paint in the first quarter. So as much as I want to be like, oh my god, we locked in defensively, which I think we did a much better in the second half, obviously, but there was also a half where we were on pace to give up 140 points tonight, and the Heat were shooting over 50% from the field. So I want to be like, yeah, good defense, guys, but it's we got half a good game of defense, I'll say. I think that, it's good to see, obviously, one half of good defense versus no defense, but yeah, I just want to be like, oh my god, we got good defense now. I don't know if that is the case. I think this team still lacks defense, especially during moments when they can't, guard the pick and roll effectively. Maybe that changes with Vooch getting moved, which I don't know if that's even the case now, but I just, I don't want to jump too far ahead, because we did still give up 122 points tonight, or 124, I guess. That's not amazing at the end of the day. It is obviously better than giving up 140, which was we were on pace for 140 in the first half. Daniel Gills just said free Matas. I can get behind that. Yeah. People even tried bully ball tonight a couple of times. That dunk was impressive to me from Patrick. So, obviously he made a dunk. Everybody celebrate. Patrick Williams made a dunk tonight, and it looked really good. Yeah, people, he kind of, I won't lie, Patrick was a little bit kind of lost in this one for a little bit. He checked in, and then he hit 2 threes, and that was impressive to see, actually. He came off a curl and knocked one down, which was cool to see. But I won't lie, like he kind of like disappeared for a bit, but then he did a lot better in the second half to make up for it. Like he didn't have that many rebounds going into the halftime, I think. So a lot better in that second half. So I appreciate that just from him. And again, I'm not always asking for the scoring for Patrick. It's more about the just motor and the rebounding and just effort defensively. Like that's more important to me than him scoring the basketball. But yeah, I think he had a better second half, honestly, overall, even though he scored less in the second half. So yeah, it's good though from Pat. Like this is better, obviously, than what we've been seeing in the starting lineup. I had a good shot selection. I like when he is enforced with them, especially. Oh, for sure. Io was just getting to the paint easily off the pick and roll action and then finishing effectively. Got some transition opportunities, hit 2 threes. So yeah, man, like this is the reason why, again, like if you're wondering why I'm a person, I'm like, yeah, keep Io. Like this is kind of the reason why. Like he had 9 assists tonight, which I think kind of went under the radar. He had that block on Tyler Hero that was an effective lockdown possession. He had a steal, which he got the layup off of. But like if you're wondering why I want Io in the starting lineup, like, and want to keep him around, like this is kind of why. It's gonna come down to his 3-point shot, obviously. Like he needs to consistently hit the 3 ball. But like imagine if this is your starting shooting guard moving forward. I understand that a lot of people are like, oh, he doesn't fit the timeline, but for me, the risk versus reward when it comes to the contract and just like with him knowing that he's not going to be taking a bunch of shots, and obviously defensively he's been pretty solid. Like this is what I look at. If this is your starting shooting guard moving forward, who shoots effectively, like shoots really efficiently and guards really well, can guard multiple positions, and the biggest thing is going to come down to the 3-point shot. But if he's knocking it down at a pretty decent clip, which he's done in 2 of his 4 seasons so far, like that's really good, right? But then also it gives you flexibility that like you can put him on the bench. And I still think like he's had a rougher time off the bench, I will say that, but I still think he can become an effective player off the bench. So I don't know. I just look at this like I know that there's a chance that the Bulls might actually do trade him here. We'll see, right? I'm interested to see what the Bulls actually do, but this is kind of the reason why I'm kind of like keep him. Like the reason why I'm more for like, if you're wondering like why I want to trade Kobe, is because I just, like Kobe's just not that efficient, and he hit 4 for 7 from 3-point range, and like 7 of 16 is like okay, like that's not like horrible or anything, but Kobe, just his inconsistencies, I'm just like, he's just a Jamal Crawford really type of guy. And knowing that because he's been in the starting lineup for a while, I think he's gonna ask for a lot of money. Obviously defensively he's limited, but for Io, I think that for a guy that plays good defense and really shoots efficiently for a guard, like that's something that I really look at. And he also doesn't really turn the ball over too much, so I don't know. I just kind of look at this as like the reason why I want to keep him. I'm not in charge of that, but I would hope that if the Bulls do trade him, it's for some serious value instead of just like nothing. But again, I'm not in charge of that. That's not my jurisdiction. I wish it was, but I don't get that luxury. Let's see. He also Hero fumbled all the leads that he had. Yeah, Hero had a really rough game. Again, shout out to Isle for guarding him pretty effectively. It's hard to guard Tyler Hero, bro. Like when Hero's coming off those down screens, it's hard, man. It's a really rough job. But I think that watching the Bulls tonight and seeing that like Io was doing a good job against them, but then even others were doing a pretty solid job, like that was good to see. But I won't lie, bro. Hero had some turnovers tonight that I was just like, what is happening? He had 6 tonight, and there are just some turnovers that were just unacceptable. Like the one where Khalil Ware like was saving the ball from going out of bounds in front of the Heat bench, and then he tossed it to Hero, and Hero's already looking down the floor before he caught the ball and it goes out of bounds. Like that was weird to watch. Like I don't know if I've ever seen Tyler Hero do something like that. And then the one where he spun late game and tried to spin past Patrick Williams and he just sent it out of bounds. But no, Hero had a really rough game. Like that was rough from him. 3 for 11 from 3-point range for a guy that's been draining threes all season long. 5 for 15 overall from the field. You still gave up 11 free throws, which is not great, but yeah, this is a really solid performance defensively for the Bulls on him specifically. Now the others though, like Khalil Ware was just killing us inside. Bam had a damn good game, right? Nikola Jovic hit 5 threes against us. That's obviously not great, but in terms of the big guy of their all-star, like they did a good job, and I'm really happy that they did a good job with it. Matas will be the player that grows in Levine's absence the way Kobe did last season. We need Levine to leave more times. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. We'll see about that. Because they do play different positions at the end of the day, where Kobe was more so like, yeah, that you need Levine scoring, right? And Kobe stepped up in that spot. I just think for Buzelis, it's going to come down to, and reminder, he could have been doing this since Zach has been gone, right? Like since Zach's left the team basically 4 games ago now, but he wasn't traded until obviously before this game. But you know, it's just all about on-ball opportunity, and I do think, again, like, it was, you know, there weren't a lot of guys tonight to play, so I do think that did help a little bit. Obviously, Levine being gone does help him get some on-ball opportunities, but I think with Buzelis moving forward, like, it's just going to be interesting just to see, because he is still, I will say, like, I do think he's a little bit clunky still with his ball handling, which is, that's not to say anything bad. I'm just saying that I'm just noticing it. I'm just, you know, pointing it out. Where, like, I look at the way that he got his offense tonight, like, this was the most I've ever seen him on ball. And obviously, you know, Levine being gone does help that, but he could have done this more when Levine was already gone, right? So I hope that is the case where he does, like, step up the most, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's, like, more so Giddey and Isles step up more and so in Levine's absence. But getting Buzelis some on-ball opportunities, I'm all for it. Like, I think if he's doing this, then yeah, we can definitely give him some more on-ball opportunities. But we do have to then also make sure that you have the leash on him in case that, like, if he does have all these on-ball opportunities and isn't exactly performing up to the greatest, like, I don't want to just send him to the Wolves and, like, just say figure it out, right? Like, if he does start to struggle, you know, some turnovers happen, like, pull him back a little bit. That's okay, right? He's one of those guys where I know that even if he doesn't get as many on-ball touches, like, he'll still shoot the next shot with full confidence, right? And I would much rather have that than obviously a guy that's afraid to shoot. So yeah, we should, like, just make sure that, like, with the on-ball opportunities that he's definitely going to be getting more of now, just make sure you have that leash, right? My biggest test will be seeing, like, whenever the guys that are, you know, available from the trade are here, then, you know, hopefully he still continues to get those opportunities. But we don't know, right? Like, we're missing a lot of guys tonight. We basically only had 10 guys available tonight when, you know, you usually have 15, right? So I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm hoping that we continue to see him, like, take advantage, but I think more so it's about, like, let's make sure that we do it properly. The on-ball opportunities for Buzelis, no matter what, I said it's going to be coming at some point. I didn't expect it to be this much already this year, honestly, from everything what we've seen. And then especially this game was crazy. But moving forward, man, I've already said, like, I think, like, especially year 3, he's going to get a lot of on-ball opportunities. He's going to get that chance. And I'm looking forward to that when he's, like, more fully developed and has, you know, the game experience to work off of. Here's a shot that he out of the game trying to try hard. Honestly, there were some moments with Hero that was a little bit questioning his shot selection too. Not gonna lie, when Vooch went back out in the closing minutes after the comeback, I questioned if the momentum would stay given the driving lineup at the end. Yeah, Vooch was out for a bit maybe it was the first half I'm thinking of, but yeah, I could understand that for sure because he was not having that great of a game. But yeah, he had a big shot down the stretch. Not better off the bench right now. I talk about either Buzelis or Williams, but I think with Buzelis, I think it's okay to keep him on the bench for now. Again, if Kobe and Lonzo are traded, then yeah, I'm like, yeah, send him in the starting lineup. That's fine. But for now, though, I think it's fine just to keep him on the bench and just make sure he gets like 25 minutes a night at least. He started to panic shoot. Thankfully, they did. They definitely did. And we'll gladly take that. Montes is more freedom off the bench anyway, so he would not get the ball as much if he started. That is also probably true with Kobe White and Giddey still, you know, handling more of the ball duties. But if Vooch is traded, though, then there is probably an argument that he would get the on-ball opportunities if Vooch is traded. But I do agree, though, with that overall statement. Lonzo's definitely not going to play because it's a back-to-back, so someone has to replace him in the starting 5. That is true, and we'll see what does happen. I wouldn't be shocked if it's somehow Javon Carter or something like that, but yeah, I mean, maybe tomorrow Buzelis does start. I'm going to assume that Patrick Williams is just stuck on the bench from here on out, which is fine. I'm glad if that is the case. But I wouldn't be shocked if it's someone like, Javon Carter, if Dalen Terry's available or something like that, just to keep Buzelis in the same rotation spot. But maybe he does start tomorrow. That'd be cool to see. He played a good game today, by the way. I told you he was athletic. He won't do it again for another 2 months, though. Yeah, honestly, bro, we might not see another Patrick Williams dunk like that for the rest of the season. But we'll see it next year for sure, right? It will just take a couple months to get it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. Like, Pat is so weird to me, but I'm not gonna, like, touch this. Like, he is just staying on the bench from here on out until he says otherwise. Like, he's just gonna stay here and play probably heavy minutes off the bench, and we'll take the better play with it. But yeah, I mean, that dunk was awesome. I'm just so confused why Pat can't go up like that consistently. Like, I'm not saying he needs to go up with, like, full force like that, but, like, go up with just more confidence, bro. Like, he even missed a layup today where, like, he was, like, driving hard, like, he did a little hezzy, he got to the basket, and then he completely overshot the layup, and it was just like, huh? Like, what happened, bro? Like, I don't get it sometimes with Pat, but, yeah, it's Patrick Williams. We'll always be clueless when it comes to him. I think Buzelis would have closed if it wasn't a back-to-back. I also think that maybe a possibility, but again, I just think he played 31 minutes before he went to the bench for the final time. I think that is, that's a lot of minutes for the guy who hasn't played 30 minutes all season long. Want to see the new guys, but according to the announcers, we should see them on Saturday night. So yeah, that is correct. So yeah, we are not going to be seeing, if Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, and Trey Jones are still here, we will not be seeing them tomorrow. We will be seeing them at the earliest Saturday night. So the Bulls have 2 days off. 2 days off. That, I think it's honestly, it's pretty smart overall in terms of, like, if you are just going to keep them, then, like, it's fine just keeping them out from now. But I do think that the reason why they are staying out is because they're trying to get rerouted, and that's been, released by Casey Johnson and, others, including Joe Coley, saying that. But, yeah, I think that for now, though, it's the correct decision. You need to just make sure those guys stay on the bench in case you do reroute them. I will say, though, I've been pretty adamant about it. Zach Collins is dead weight. You're not trading him. Kevin Huerter, I guess, could have some value here. I just don't see it too much of it. Trey Jones actually might get traded. That I can definitely see. I'll be interested to see what the Bulls get in return, though. But reminder to everybody about this, because there's some people talking about, like, oh, maybe we can package Kevin Huerter in a Vooch deal, or package Kevin Huerter and Trey Jones in, like, a Kobe White deal, okay? For players that were just traded, you cannot aggregate contracts with that player to trade them again, okay? So if you don't know what that means that, take example, Kevin Huerter. I cannot take Kevin Huerter and Kobe White and put them in the same trade together and send them out, okay, in the same trade, okay? When it comes to the guys that were just traded, they have a little restriction on them that if you do trade them again, you can only trade them if they're the only contract going out, okay? So you can trade Kevin Huerter, but it has to be him only alone being traded, okay? I cannot take Kevin Huerter and Kobe White and put them in the same trade together and send them out together, okay? That is illegal to do. That's called aggregating contracts together. That is illegal for a player that was just recently traded, and so therefore that trade would be illegal. So when it comes to for trades that we're looking for these guys, like, for the people that are saying, oh, maybe we can, like, package Trey Jones in with, like, Kobe White or Lonzo Ball, like, that's not allowed, okay? For right now, for the Bulls, they're just trying to see if they could probably just get, like, a second rounder for any of these guys and just send them into cap space over there, or a trade exception for another team. That's pretty hard to do for a guy like Kevin Huerter, who's making like $17 million this year, but we'll see. Like, I'll be interested to see if they can pull out something here where they maybe get, like, a young player or like a very cheap overall player, like a second round pick or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see what does happen about this, because I'm gonna be interested to see how the Bulls do this trade, or if they're able to even do a trade here, because right now it's not looking too good. We are officially less than 48 hours away from the deadline, so I'm a little bit nervous that no other trades are going to happen, but the Bulls need to do some trades. Like, trading only Zach for what you got in return is not enough. I will say this: if the Bulls are able to trade Kevin Huerter, like, immediately right here, and are able to get, like, 2 second rounders out of it, I'll feel a lot better about the Zach LaVine deal, because the biggest issue I had about the deal with what the return was is that I don't really think you gave much more cap flexibility that people are saying. Like, you took back basically $10 less million in LaVine's contract, and that's only for next season. But those guys, at least in my opinion, unless Huerter suddenly starts playing great, I think they're just kind of dead weight. I know for sure Zach Collins is here to stay. Like, he's not getting traded. But if you're able to then trade Kevin Huerter, though, for like 2 second-rounders, I'll feel better about the deal then. Because then that means that you traded Zach LaVine for 1, cap space for next year, okay? But also then you got your pick back, and then you got 2 second-rounders out of it instead of you sending a pick out in the 2028 Kings pick, right? So I'll feel a lot better about the deal, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm going to be interested because I honestly think with just the way that Kevin Huerter has looked in the last 2 seasons and with Zach Collins, just I know he's dead weight right now. Like, I don't think we're going to be able to move those guys. But I hope I'm wrong. Like, I really do hope I'm wrong. Trey Jones, I'll be okay also trading him. I know a lot of people were thinking that we're just going to keep him, but Bulls have to pay him this summer. So I wouldn't be that opposed to just going ahead and just trading him now. That'll be okay with me, honestly. He is an interesting guy, but he's a 6'1" point guard whose best trait is probably defense and passing. So, you know, he's already 25. It's not like he's gonna be like, you know, a big part of the rebuild or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm looking at all options if I'm the Bulls, which it seems like they are doing. So I'm not gonna be too, you know, critical of them being like, oh, they're not looking at options. Like they're clearly looking at options, but I just don't think they're dumb. I still think that they're very dumb when it comes to actually pulling off a trade because what Casey Johnson just tweeted out during the game doesn't make me feel too good. Saw some of your tweets, but Bulls fans don't understand why we should trade Vooch and Zoe. Don't see the big picture. So yeah, I appreciate that, Taro. I know my tweet, like one of my tweets today got a lot of engagement today. I was not expecting that. But when it comes to what I tweeted out today, if you're wondering, I'll even pull it up here. But I was going nuts today because I was talking to some people on Twitter about like why I think it's okay for the Bulls just to go ahead and trade Lonzo Ball for like some second rounders, okay? Okay, interesting enough, Cody Westerlund just took back this quote, so we can't talk about that, I guess. But basically though, this tweet got a lot of engagement. Like I don't usually get this much engagement on tweets. Like I just tweet out just because I can. A lot of the times, and you know, you guys, you know, some of you follow me on Twitter, so I'm mostly just talking to you guys. I'm not like trying to talk to all Bulls fans, but when it comes to though this came out today. So Mark Stein released this today, saying that the Bulls are actually thinking about re-signing Lonzo Ball after his contract expires, and I'm just like, why? Like, why are we looking to do this? Like, if you're actually rebuilding, which you know, I have my doubts that the Bulls actually are, right? I think that we have, you know, me doubting and you doubting. I think you have a right to doubt if the Bulls are actually rebuilding, which just, you know, the way that the front office acts and our ownership, right? Their goal is to sell tickets, so why would the Bulls rebuild? You know, I'm just talking about from their perspective. We should absolutely be rebuilding. But my thing is this. It's that if the Bulls are actually rebuilding, then you should be looking to trade Lonzo Ball for some second rounders, okay? Or a second round pick. Like, that's fine. But some people today were like, well, why would we do this? Like, trade Lonzo for a second? That's not worth it. And I'm like, listen, I don't care what the picks are. Like, just because we can't get a first-round pick for Lonzo Ball or Nikola Vucevic doesn't mean that we should stop trading them or trying to look to trade them, okay? Draft capital, I don't care if it's the first or second round. When you're in a rebuild, draft capital matters, okay? So whether you're going to be getting a pick that's projected to be in the first or second round, I don't care what it is. It's still valuable, okay? Unfortunately for the Bulls right now, a lot of the players that they currently have in the roster, they're probably not going to net you a first-round pick, okay? So if that... Are we back? Okay. So I'm gonna have to... give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up emoji if we're back. Back? Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, sorry, that was rough. Give me 1 second. I'm waiting for my internet to maybe kind of calm down here because my bitrate is like going like this right now. So give me just a couple of seconds before I start talking again. Oh boy. Okay. That doesn't make me feel too good because, you know, if my internet's doing this, this is not great. Okay. I've stabilized somewhat, so we'll keep going here. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, my bitrate, when I know my internet's unstable, when my bitrate, like, I have like a consistent bitrate I set it to, but my bitrate is unstable when it goes like, it shoots like way high, and it's sort of doing that right now. So just I'm just gonna, like, no music. I'm just gonna let things just calm down for a second. But yeah, this isn't ideal. Sorry about this, guys. Okay. Oh no, we dropped again. Oh no, we're back. Okay, I think we're okay. Okay, yeah. Basically though, what I was talking about, I don't know what you guys saw, but it's off of this tweet, and like a lot of Bulls fans today were saying like they didn't want to trade Lonzo Ball or trade Vucevic if you're only getting second round picks in return. And I'm like, I genuinely do not care what the return is in terms of draft capital. If you're able to get picks for these guys, you need to do it. Like, just because that you're not going to be able to get a high draft capital from these guys doesn't mean that you should stop trading them. Okay. When it comes to these guys, okay, like, I understand everyone wants a first round pick for Vucevic, but if you aren't able to get a first round pick for Vucevic, you need to just take the seconds. When you're a rebuilding team, any draft capital matters. Okay. Whether it is in the first or second round, that draft capital is important. I don't know why some Bulls fans are just like, nah, second round pick doesn't matter for us. I'm like, did we not just see what the Utah Jazz just did? Like, do you not see what other teams do in a rebuild? Like, other teams find any way to get any pick. I understand it's only a second rounder, and yes, first rounders are more valuable than second rounders, as, you know, Sherlock Holmes here, Bulls Nation, who I genuinely do not like. As this guy had to point out to me, he's like, hey, I don't know if you're new here, first are more valuable than second. So I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, thanks for telling me, bro. But when it comes to a rebuild, I don't, like, you're not going to get a first round pick for Vooch or Lonzo, but that does not mean that should stop you from trading those guys for second rounders. Okay. Again, I'm very aware that first round picks are more valuable than seconds. Okay. You don't need to like tell me that, but I'm just saying that, no matter what, like, I don't, like, if a team is offering you some picks and that's the best they can offer is like some second round picks for a guy, you need to do that. You can't just try to be holding out for a first round pick, or, you know, not trading a guy because you didn't get a first round pick in return. You need to get as many picks as you can. As once again, I'm going to give you my definition of rebuild. My definition of a rebuild is to accumulate as much young talent as possible in as short a period of time as possible. Okay. That short period of time is, you know, kind of like, it's up in the air in terms of what that does mean, right? In terms of time period, but your job is to accumulate young talent as quickly as possible. Okay. I understand that second round picks are not as valuable as first, but it is a way for you to go and get young talent. That is a way for you to get young talent, is second round picks. Like, you know, someone did respond to this saying like, well, the landscape has changed and it's like second round picks are barely getting opportunities to play nowadays. I'm like, well, I would assume it was a second round pick. Julian Phillips is a second round pick. When Dalen Terry when THT plays, he's also a second round pick. Like, I understand that second round picks have a less chance of working out, but either way, you should just be looking to get picks. Like, even if it's in the second round, you should be looking to get those any way possible. So if you can only trade Lonzo Ball for a second round pick, that's completely fine. That is something that we should be accepting and not turning down just because, oh, boo-hoo, it's only a second rounder. We need a first instead, and we're not going to make the deal. It's just like, bro, I hate when that mindset creeps into Bulls fans of like, oh, picks don't matter too much. I'm like, I'm sorry, we're rebuilding now. Like, yeah, picks don't really matter too much when you're trying to win, but we're officially on the rebuild train. Like, at least that we should be, right? So I need to see this sort of stuff for the Bulls to do the proper thing. Like, you need to go and make the proper trades, and if you can only get second rounders for Vucevic, you make the trade. I know it sucks, like, you're not gonna get a first round pick for Vucevic when you traded 2 firsts for him, but that's how this goes. You're not gonna get a first round pick for a 34-year-old Asian center who doesn't play defense. It's just, it is what it is. So that's all this was about. I understand a lot of Bulls fans have their opinions, and you have the right to your opinion, but the arguments, at least today, when it came to why the Bulls should keep Lonzo Ball, I don't think you have that good of an argument. You have a guy that's about to hit unrestricted free agency, that there's no guarantee that you re-sign, and you're telling me that it's worth the risk to just let him hit unrestricted free agency and try to re-sign him versus potentially trading him for a second-round pick. That doesn't make any sense to me personally, and I haven't seen an argument that gives me any better reason to try to re-sign Lonzo. This is if you're actively doing the correct thing of rebuilding, which is still up in the air. I don't know if the Bulls are actually rebuilding or not. I'm not gonna lie. I have my doubts. So hopefully we'll see if the Bulls actually are rebuilding effectively, because I'm not gonna lie, bro, the Bulls got their pick back fully, so they kind of have an excuse now to be like, oh, we don't need to be bad anymore. We can just go and try to make the play-in and try to make the playoffs. Like, that's a possibility, and I hope that's not going to be the case. All right, back to chat here. Bulls won. Let's party like it's 1999. Oh wait, never mind about the 99 Bulls. Showcasing him before he can ship to Siberia. I mean, contender. Jesus, man. Let's go. Yeah, Buzelis with fire emojis. That line again was fire. Billy says he wants to see Matas and more pick and rolls. I want to see that too, bro. So if we can see more pick and rolls with Buzelis as a screener, please go ahead and do that. 6 points off the rookie record for Buzelis. Oh, I did not know that. What's going on, Noel? I appreciate you being here. Bulls are tanking, but does anybody trust AKME and Billy with scouting, drafting, and development? No one trusts any of those guys to do that, right? I think Billy overall, in terms of his development, I think some people don't give him enough credit. Because, like, reminder, Billy has been here, and Kobe developed into what he is today under Billy. Io developed into what he is today under Billy. Okay, so like there are some guys under Billy Donovan that have developed. Okay, but obviously Patrick Williams has been pretty disappointing. We're still obviously waiting on Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry and Josh Giddey, right? Dalen Terry has not really developed under Billy Donovan. So if you want to go ahead and say, yeah, it's not great, a great resume for Billy, sure. But I don't necessarily think it's the worst thing for so far under Billy. But I will say, Billy only playing Buzelis like 10 minutes in some games is unacceptable. That is something that is straight up unacceptable from Billy Donovan. So I hope that that goes away. But I do think there is a good argument for Billy to develop some guys. In terms of the front office, though, I have no faith. Like, I mean, Io was the one guy that has really panned out for them effectively, but they drafted Patrick Williams, they drafted Dalen Terry. Julian Phillips is too young to kind of make a decision on just yet. But you know, a lot of the guys that they drafted, you know, haven't really exactly turned in that much, or turned into what our expectations were. So I think for that, though, you can argue like, yeah, the front office hasn't done the proper scouting and everything like that. Giddey's obviously up in the air still with how his development's going to be, but yeah, we'll see. Even half the level of today's performance would be good for a rookie. Oh, for sure, bro. I mean, Buzelis gives you 12 points and, you know, hits a couple of threes. That's a good performance from him, bro. Yeah. Yeah, you can't replicate this game because he is the only rookie to go 10 for 10 with at least 1 3-pointer in a game. That is crazy. I did not know that. So yeah, obviously you can't replicate this performance. But you know, obviously, you know, we're not saying literal replication when it comes to Buzelis' performance, but more so like, what's his, you know, can you go out there and show me that you can hit some isolation opportunities, right? And make some shots off of it. Like that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Not like, oh, you need to replicate this performance literally. Don't forget to go over that Lonzo missed dunk. Oh, that Lonzo missed dunk was heartbreaking, bro. Lonzo was 0 for 5 from the field when that happened, and then he missed that dunk. It's just, oof. Can't believe no rookie had ever gone 10 for 10 and one made 3 before. To be honest, yeah, that's actually crazy. That is insane that Buzelis is the first one to actually do that. Heavy eyes of Derek White light. Yeah, I think it's honestly a pretty solid comparison. Is like Derek White light. Like he probably won't be as good of a shooter as Derek White, but you know, pretty solid defensively. I think White's the better defender. But yeah, I think that is kind of like a nice kind of look at things. If a team sees that for him and gives up a first rounder, yes, trade him. If not, to keep him. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm just at. Terry Rozier's a basketball terrorist. Jesus, man. That is very, very, very specific, but I won't lie, bro. Since Terry Rozier's gotten to Miami, it's been a rough go. It's been a really rough go for him. I think they targeted Hero on offense to make him really tired trying to defend, and by the end, his dribbles getting lost, covered in sweat. Maybe. I still think though that with Hero, like he just seemed to just get absolutely hounded tonight. Like with Io on him. The Bulls seem to be like really prepared against Hero specifically. They clearly weren't prepared for like Jovic tonight, but they were very clearly prepared for what Tyler Hero likes to do a lot of. So I'm happy that they were ready and read the scouting report. Who should the starting lineup be, assuming no Vucevic? I mean, Jalen Smith's gonna have to start, right? So like, I think if only Vooch is traded, I still think that you run the same starting lineup out there besides Vooch. There is maybe an argument that you can maybe run Buzelis out there and you bench Lonzo instead, and so same starting lineup. So it's Io, Kobe, Giddey, and then Buzelis and Smith. But if Vooch is the only one traded, then I think it's you just run the same starting lineup that we saw tonight, with Lonzo starting, and you just boost Jalen Smith in the starting lineup, and then we'll be getting then like Adama Sanogo minutes off the bench, which will be cool to watch. Or I guess I forgot Zach Collins existed. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, we'll be getting Zach Collins minutes instead. Woohoo. I forgot Zach Collins existed. So I don't know then what Billy's gonna do. Like, do you then start Jalen Smith or do you start Zach Collins instead? And like you just mostly run Jalen Smith, like, you'll like split the minutes 50-50, I guess. I won't lie, bro. I would honestly just play Sanogo, honestly, and just start Jalen Smith, but whatever. Yeah, like I don't care what the combination is, just make sure that Jalen Smith gets most of the minutes. Whether he is starting or coming off the bench, just make sure he gets more minutes than Zach Collins does. Who's zealous over Jordan? Man, we're already there, huh? Monta is better off the bench. Bulls offense is way better without Levine. Players move more off ball. So Eric Kush, that is just straight up false. I won't lie. Like the Bulls offense so far this season has been like one of the worst offenses in the league without Zach Levine. Tonight, obviously, it looks great without Zach, right? But you hit 19 threes on like 46% from the field. So I dare you to go and replicate that again and come back to me again when the Bulls go like 8 for like 46 or something next time. The Bulls offense has not been better without Levine. That is just a straight up lie. In terms of like, the passing and everything, like the Bulls have been hitting this number pretty consistently throughout the season. Like they've been hitting 35 assists with Zach is in the lineup. But it helps that you hit 19 threes tonight and shot 46% from 3-point range. Like that helps a lot. So I dare you to go and replicate that again and then come back to me and say, yeah, the Bulls are still better without Zach Levine on offense. Because like I'm gonna be real. This is a damn nice game to look at in terms of without Levine, but there are gonna be some games coming up here where it's gonna seem like the Bulls can't make a damn shot. And that's where it's like, no, the Bulls are not better without Levine on offense. The Bulls are probably on a better trajectory in terms of their overall franchise movement and hopefully towards a rebuild without Levine. But they're not in terms of this specific team. This team is better with Levine on offense. That's just straight up facts. The numbers say so. Hey, Rozier betting on games. Oh my god, that whole thing was crazy with Rozier. That the FBI got involved in that. We're getting more people involved in sports apparently getting looked into as if they're betting on games. Pat Hoberg, the umpire, just got fired by the MLB because he was betting on games. So that's interesting. Yeah, I hope that doesn't continue to happen. Bulls are trading those guys that makes those impossible to trade. Oh, you're talking about Herter, Collins, and Trey Jones. So I think there's a chance Trey Jones does get moved. When it comes to Herter and Collins, bro, I won't lie, I don't have faith. Like, I'm with you, Taro. Like, I just don't think those guys are getting moved. If Vooch and like, it seems like Vooch is not getting moved. We'll get to that tweet in a second by Casey Johnson, but I'm hoping he gets moved here still because I won't lie, bro. If Zach Levine gets moved and you don't trade Nikola Vucevic at the same deadline, I am losing my mind if we go past the trade deadline on Thursday and Vucevic is still on the team. Okay. I can live if Lonzo is still here past the deadline. I think it's not the correct decision, but I'm also aware that he is making $20 million, so it's hard to contract match with him. And same thing with Vooch. I'm aware of that. But you need to trade Vooch, okay? Like, if you could just, like, I don't even care what the return is, honestly. Like, if you need to trade Vooch for just 1 second-round pick and, like, a horrible salary filler, you do that, okay? Keeping Nikola Vucevic past the trade deadline this year is one of the worst decisions you can make this year. There's no way that Vooch should still be here. Again, his value goes down by the day. He needs to get traded now. His value will be less in the offseason than it is today. You have to trade him now. So I'm hoping that a trade does figure themselves out in terms of getting him. But apparently the Bulls had 2 trades lined up for Vooch and they fell through. So great. Herder is getting under 20 million. I feel like they should be able to get something out of him. I just don't know, bro. Like, I want to say Herder's good, but like, I don't think Kevin Herter is really that good right now. I think he's struggled mightily. You know, a shooter that is like a player whose main thing is to shoot is only shooting 30% from the field, like, or from 3-point range. Like, that's not a good sign. You know, we're talking about career low on field goal percentage, career low on 3-point percentage this year. Like, I just don't think there's a lot of suitors out there. But again, I hope I'm wrong. Like, if we trade Herter, I'll feel a lot better about the Levine deal. But when I looked at this trade and I saw Kevin Herter and Zach Collins both coming back, I'm just like, oh god. Like, I can live with one, but if we're looking for expiring contracts, like, or like just salary cap space next year, you can't have both of these guys. But we might be stuck with both, unfortunately. Be prepared for no more moves from the Bulls. I won't be shocked if that is the case. I'll be pissed, but I'll be shocked. I won't be shocked if that is the case, where the Bulls don't make any other moves. I imagine a lot of things are on hold until the big guys move. Current rumors are KD to Golden State, Butler to Phoenix. So I am aware of this happening currently. But I also think the Golden State Warriors are probably looking at other options besides Kevin Durant. And so it's like, yeah, we're not going to trade for Nikola Vucevic because we're going to look for other options instead. I know the rumor about the Levine thing came out, which is like, I won't lie, if we're not able to trade Kevin Herter here, then I'm pissed off. We just didn't wait for Schroeder to be able to be traded, and then we didn't take the Warriors deal. But if that, again, if it is true, but yeah. Bulls are returning around Vucevic from Alonso. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think they're trying to look for the trade Vooch. But they may be looking to retool with Lonzo, which is a problem. Like, you should not be looking to retool with Lonzo. I love Lonzo. I'm happy he's back. It's an incredible comeback story. But if you're able to get him, if you're able to get value for him now, you do that. It's the correct thing to do. Vooch can take this team to the promised land. Oh my god. Magic fans told themselves that for a long time. I feel like Lonzo Ball himself would choose to sign somewhere else in free agency this summer. Oh, for sure, Taro. I think if Lonzo is not traded, he is definitely signing somewhere else. Charlotte. I'm all for trading Pat for Duncan Robinson and in a second. I don't know about Duncan Robinson in a second, but yeah, I mean, I guess I could see it. I'd have to look at the money with Duncan Robinson, but yeah, I can honestly kind of see that. Sorry, hold on. Why is my feed like this? My like return feed for my stream is doing okay. There we go. We're back. Also, by the way, spam in chat. If I ever do lag again, let me know. I hope I'm never lagging again, but just let me know about that. Really quickly, just because that's an interesting idea. So, Patrick Williams for Duncan Robinson in the second. So it's this. Don't know why he would do this, honestly, but you know. Oh, I guess the money would work, and he's only a 1+1. Okay, yeah. He'll take like the Lakers second or something like that. Yeah. Maybe you think about it. I don't know if that would be exactly the player, like the player you're looking for, but yeah. Now Zach moved off ball. It's Kobe that's the off-ball movement stopper of the team, and maybe Vooch says he can get lazy. I do think that maybe Kobe, or okay, I know for sure Kobe was more of a detriment to the offense than Levine was. I mean, I think Levine was basically the offense this year. I'm talking about obviously consistently. Like, if the Bulls are hitting their threes, they look amazing, right? Like, if Matas Buzelis goes 10 for 10 and hits 4 threes, like, yeah, they look incredible, right? Well, Matas Buzelis is not going to go 10 for 10 and hit 4 threes again, all right? That's just not going to happen again. So, yeah, the Bulls look incredible when they're hitting their 3-point shots. But when they can't, like, they really had to rely on Zach to, like, do everything. And Kobe's been unfortunately one of those guys where it's like he can really go cold this year. So yeah. Because meant it as more that guys stopped moving when Levine got the ball because he doesn't pass it. I also think that's not the case either. I think actually guys did a pretty decent job when Levine had the ball this year. You have to have a direction when you rebuild. Don't know if the Bulls have that. Oh yeah, I mean for sure. Like I don't know if the Bulls have that either. I'm being real. I get you then. Yes, at times Zach has a look of I'm going to put up a shot no matter the situation. Everyone watch. But I mean, when he's shooting 50% from the field and 44% from three-point range, I mean, I think that he's allowed to do that. W sometimes does that, and I most of the time moves too fast to think off forward to pass. Yeah, I mean, I think both actually have that issue, where they go too quickly and they don't know where to pass it, and even with Giddey sometimes. But yeah. 8 second-round picks is worth the mid-lottery pick. I think it was statistically. There's a chart what percentage of a pick turns out a player that stays in the league of an all-star. Oh, that's interesting, honestly. 2 seconds worth of late first almost if we don't account for needing development play time. I mean, again, like, this is the reason why I've been just telling Bulls fans. I'm like, listen, bro. Like, I understand it's going to suck if we trade Lonzo Ball for only, like, 1 second-round pick, okay? But for a team right now for the Chicago Bulls that lacks second-round picks, okay? Like, you need to trade for every pick you can. I understand that a second-round pick is less than the first-round pick in terms of value, okay? But your pick this year is going to Sacramento, okay? It was going to San Antonio, but it's going to Sacramento, okay? You then got, though, you then got Sacramento's pick, though, in the DeMar DeRozan deal, okay? But if your pick is going to Sacramento this year, and assuming that you're going to be worse than Sacramento now that Levine is there, you have the worst pick of the two. So, like, basically you swap picks, right? But Sacramento is going to be worse than your record. Or sorry, it's going to be better than your record, right? So you're going to have the worst pick of the two. The 2026 pick is traded to Washington. Same thing with 2027, okay? Is also traded to Washington. So in 2026 and 2027, you do not own a second round pick of those years, okay? And then you have your own from 2028 from here on out, okay? But if we're talking about a rebuild, right? You want these picks to be earlier, okay? Like, you want these picks to be in 2026, 2027, 2025 ideally, right? So if I'm able to trade Lonzo Ball for a 2026 second-round pick, then I do that. I understand a lot of people, like, they hate the idea of losing Lonzo, but at the end of the day, if I can trade a guy that is about to hit unrestricted free agency for a second-round pick that I know will be guaranteed second-round pick for us, then you do that. You're a rebuilding team. You're not a team that's going to be trying to take a risk and being like, yeah, we're going to try to re-sign Lonzo this year, which that doesn't even make any sense if you're actually trying to rebuild. Are the Bulls trying to rebuild? Don't know. I won't lie. I have my doubts, but it is what it is, right? Catching up back up with you. I heard you say you didn't like the trade. I haven't been locked into my favorite team for a while, but I do love we are going with our young guys and picks. So, Deniji, I think that's how you say it, right? So yeah, I'll explain one more time. So there was a whole stream of me, by the way, that I reacted when the Levine trade happened live. So if you want like my full reaction, go to that stream as my last stream. But I'll give you the reason why I don't like this trade for Zach. Okay, so yes, it is if in theory, if the Bulls are actually rebuilding, okay, then you trading Zach in theory is the correct thing to do. Okay, so I'm not like pissed off of like, oh, we traded Zach, like why we traded Zach? Like, no. I understood that, like, we need to trade Levine to hit the rebuild, okay? So you trading Zach is the proper thing to do. My issue with the return, though, is a couple of things. One, I think that you didn't gain any salary cap flexibility off this deal. You, in theory, did gain $10 million off this deal, okay? Because Herter and Collins combined together for next year's salary is $10 million less than what Zach Levine would have made, okay? So they're combined making $36 million next year. Levine makes $46 million next year, okay? The problem with that, though, is that, one, it's only $10 million, but two, I think both those guys are dead weights. Like, I don't think either of them are going to get traded here. I think a lot of people are saying, oh, we can just trade those guys and, like, we'll trade them, just to get the salaries off the books. But I don't think you're going to be able to trade them. So I think that's a problem, that you really only opened up about $10 million in your salary, in theory, right? If they're stuck on the team next year. But then that's not even to mention then Trey Jones that you just traded for in this deal. He's an unrestricted free agent. So if you're going to keep him, you need to trade it. You need to pay him, right? And it's like, he's already making $9 million this year, okay? So if he's already making $9 million this year, then what's he going to make next year then? So if you're going to keep him, you got to at least pay him about $10 million, okay? So then, in theory, then, you basically you just traded for guys that make the same amount of money as Zach LaVine, okay? It didn't help you there. Then the whole thing about the getting your pick back, like, people are trying to convince me that, like, oh, it was important for the Bulls to get their pick back. And I'm always just going to be arguing back and forth about this. I know people are going to disagree with me when it comes to this whole thing. But at least in my opinion, is if the Bulls are actively rebuilding correctly, okay, then you were going to be keeping your pick anyway. I understand that it was top 8 protected. If the pick didn't convey to the Spurs this year, it was top 8 protected between 2026 and 2027, okay? But if the Bulls were going to rebuild correctly with the lack of talent on this team, okay, and this is assuming that, again, you traded Vooch, no more Lonzo, no more Kobe White, like, if you properly rebuild it, okay, I think this team is going to be a bottom 4 team in the league, okay? And you already have a 97% chance of keeping the pick currently as we stand today, and Philly and Portland are on our asses in terms of the standings, okay? So you're going to get passed by at least one of them, probably both. And you're trading Zach already, so you're going to get worse already this year. So if they're so worried about losing the pick this year, well, just trading Zach alone should help you keep it. For the following years, though, I still think that if you're going to be rebuilding correctly, I think you're going to be keeping the pick. Like, I think you can still be a bottom 4 team and keep the pick in both those years. I will say in 2027, it's probably a little bit more iffy, but that's only if they happen to draft like your next superstar in the 2026 or 2025 drafts. And if at that point that is the case, then it's just like, okay, well, then the 2027 pick isn't the biggest thing in the world then, because then you should be up on the rise. But instead, though, I wanted picks in return in this deal. And so, at least in my head, I think the Bulls basically traded back for a pick that they're most likely just going to keep no matter what. Not to mention, then, they traded the pick that they got, one of the picks that they got in the DeMar DeRozan deal. They traded that pick back to the Kings, okay? They traded the 2028 pick back to the Kings in this deal. And I'm like, why are we trading a pick back? Like, Zach LaVine has played good enough to the point where you should not be trading a pick back, okay? You're already taking on Zach Collins and Kevin Huerter's bad contracts, guys that are deadweights right now in this deal. You should not be looking to give up any assets in this deal, and yet somehow, some way, the Bulls did. That's my biggest issue of this whole deal. Now, though, if they are able to trade Kevin Huerter for like nothing much, no salary in the future in return, and you're able to trade him for like 2 second rounders or something, then I'll feel a lot better about the deal. But at least in my head, I don't think you gained cap space out of this. You didn't gain any picks out of this. Instead, you actually sent a pick out in this deal, okay? And you got nothing in terms of young players, right? Trey Jones is the youngest of the deal and is 25. So I knew that you weren't going to accomplish everything that you wanted in a LaVine deal. Like, you're either going to get picks or you're going to get like young players. You're not going to get both, okay? You're not going to get picks, you're not going to get young players, and you're also not going to also get salary cap space. I knew that you weren't going to get all 3 of those things, but I at least wanted either salary cap space moving forward, or you get picks out of the deal. And I don't think we accomplished any of that, honestly, in this trade. But again, that's just my opinion. That's just me. Also, just for the people, just that I'm just gonna say this right now. Let's say the Bulls did the Warriors trade. Okay, let's say that we didn't even know the Spurs were available to be traded with, and the potential of getting our own pick back wasn't even available. Okay, I think a lot of people wouldn't be talking about it too much right now. About like, oh my God, we need to get our pick back. We failed or whatever. If let's say LaVine was traded to the Warriors and we didn't talk to the Spurs at all, I think a lot of people, if instead were LaVine gets traded to the Warriors and we get like maybe like a protected first out of it, or if you weren't able to get a first, you got like 2 or 3 second rounders out of the deal, okay? And LaVine goes to the Warriors instead, and you didn't get your pick back, okay, fully. I don't think people are really complaining too much right now. So I just think it's a little bit hypocritical because a lot of people were already saying that, well, you need to trade Zach so you can make sure you keep your picks moving forward. Well, if that is the case, then why are you so why are you then like, oh, this is the biggest thing though that we got our pick back? Like, I don't think it's the biggest thing in the like. I don't think it's that important. I don't think it's that valuable. Like, I think the fact that like I think people are overvaluing like, oh, we got our full rights to our pick back. What I'm more worried about, though, is that now that they got their full rights to their pick back, I think now the Bulls have every excuse now to go and try to be good. because now they don't have to be bad to make sure they keep their picks. Like, I'm actually more concerned that it's going to work against them and be like, oh, well, we can like try to be good this year. That's the part that's frustrating to me. I'm really concerned that the Bulls are really not rebuilding when they should be rebuilding. And if you are rebuilding, I think you would keep your picks no matter what the year is, because you're just going to be bad. You're not even actively tanking. You're just bad as a team. So, yeah, that's just my 2 cents. If you want to see teams that were consistently in like the bottom 8, go look at the Detroit Pistons, go look at the Houston Rockets. Like, there were teams that were consistently in the bottom 8, for multiple seasons. So, like, I don't think it would have been that hard to pull off if you're the Bulls, especially with a lot of young talent on this roster. So, yeah, again, that's just my 2 cents. I'm not here to try to convince people. I'm just saying that, like, I think the Bulls could have gotten something better out of this deal. And I think I have every right to question this front office, honestly. I think everyone has that right at this point. Blaze and Terry currently being investigated by the feds for sports betting. How is he playing? They investigated and they found nothing, pretty much, I think. If I'm not mistaken. I would hope Billy splits minutes 3 ways for Sonogo, and I would hope so, but I don't know. I have questions about that moving forward. If Vooch is traded, and we'll see. Sports betting low-key killing sports. I agree, honestly. I'm not a fan of it. Holberg wasn't betting on games. He had a shared account with a guy. He sharing it with gambling. I'm aware of that, but there was $700K betted from that account. So I'm going to assume that Holberg was sending money to that guy. Okay, I think, and with Holberg deleting texts in the investigation, like, I think you can just assume that he was guilty of doing that. So I think I have every right to be like, yeah, it's okay that I'm like, yeah, Holberg was betting on games, not maybe his games, but just betting on sports games, which you're not allowed to do that if you're an umpire. It's not that hard. Okay, I don't have any betting restrictions, but I don't bet on games. Like, it's okay. Maybe Herter struggled because he had all those scoring options ahead of him. Fox, DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, and Sabonis were all ahead of Herter in the scoring rotation. Well, okay, if that is the case, sure. But I feel like if that is the case, like, you're still a good shooter then. The fact that he's shooting 30% from the field this year is very, very concerning. For a shooter, his main thing is shooting. Like, he doesn't really bring much else to the table, okay? He's not a defender. He's not a rebounder. He isn't necessarily a playmaker either, okay? His main thing is shooting the basketball. If you're not able to do that, no matter what sort of role you're in, whether that you're getting the ball more in your hands or you're mostly just a catch and shoot shooter, then it doesn't look too good for you. So I'm mostly just concerned that he just, with the knee issues or leg issues that he's had, that he might just kind of be a little bit washed and he's just not the same player. If that is the case, it sucks, right? It does suck if that is the case for Kevin Herter then. I hope that is not the case though. Yeah, and to be honest, like, if we're hoping to rebuild his value here, like, I don't want him playing over Buzelis. I don't want him playing over the younger players. Like, I would much rather be playing, like Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, Buzelis, in terms of the guards, like Josh Giddey and Ayo Dosunmu. Like, I would much rather be playing those guys over him. He'll have minutes, but he's not going to be like, getting a ton of minutes, obviously. Ball has stated a lot that he likes playing with Giddey, given he has even pushed the coaching staff to play more together openly. We can get more glimpses of that now. Yeah, we're definitely, if Lonzo is still staying, then yeah, we'll see more of it. But again, I'm all for trading Lonzo. I think trading Lonzo, if you're able to, which again, I'm shocked that Lonzo even has a market, but if he does, which is what's being reported right now, then you need to trade him. I'm not happy with the report that came out. Herter's best year is the year he averaged 15 points per game. Let's hope / pray we see that version of Kevin in Chicago. Oh yeah, I'm hoping we see that. Like, I'll gladly be happy if we see that version of Kevin Herter in Chicago. But let's be real with ourselves. Is that really going to happen? Like, I don't think so. Like, I think I have every right to doubt that that's going to happen. But I could be wrong. Ambitious bottom 4, surely Wizards, Trailblazers, Jazz, and maybe next season without Simmons. They have 10% without Simmons and 40% of games he played. So currently the Trailblazers right now are on our asses. They're not in the bottom 4 currently right now as we're talking. Okay. I don't think the Brooklyn Nets are going to be in the bottom 4 either. Okay. And this year, the reason why the bottom 4 looks so crazy is just because the Pelicans are so bad, right? So, and again, I'm even willing to take the bet where it's just like you can even be 5th or 6th worst. Like, it's still, you're gonna have a higher chance of keeping it then. Like, it's not gonna be like a 50-50. Like, you'll have a high shot of keeping it then. But I even said though that, like, I think that even if that is the case, like, let's say you somehow find a way where in 2027 you're playing to the point where you're not keeping the pick, then I think you're probably looking at having your future core already. So if you were instead able to get picks instead from the LaVine deal, so you have extra picks no matter what, then I think it's fine. Like, I think that's a completely fine thing to go ahead and just take the risk on. But, you know, that's, again, my 2 cents. It's over now, so I can't change it or, you know, be like, oh, the Bulls should reverse this or anything like that. Like, I can't do anything about that. I just think that the Bulls overvalued trying to keep their pick when you have a 97% chance of keeping it right now, and you are. I guarantee you, if they do the tank, or not tank, but rebuild properly, you're going to be a bottom 4 team in the league next year, like, easily. So again, it's a combination of that, and then the return of Zach Collins and Kevin Huerter to me are just dead weight. I really think that those guys are just dead weight. Like, I don't think you're gonna be able to trade those guys. If the Bulls got salary cap flexibility off this deal, then I'd be okay. Like, if the Bulls were able to get cap flexibility off this deal moving forward, I'd be feeling a lot better about this deal and okay with, you know, only getting our pick back. I'd still be pissed off about having to trade our 2nd rounder, but I'd feel a lot better about the deal. But we didn't do that. We're still locked in on Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins next year. And a lot of people are like, salary cap doesn't matter next year. I'm like, no, it does matter next year. That's the reason why Vucevic needs to get off the books right now, because if the Bulls are able to trade Vooch off the books, like, you'll actually have some money to take back some bad contracts and get some more picks out of it. But if you're able to then also trade Kevin Huerter, then you have a lot of money to work with next year. And again, I'm not asking to, you know, use this money to sign good players. I'm asking them to use this money to take back bad contracts and get some 2nd rounders out of it or something. So I'm just, I don't know what, you know, people are really looking at in terms of just everything. Because I think for me, I guess when it comes to a rebuild, I specifically look more towards the quantity of picks versus the quality of picks. So for a lot of people, if they're so concerned about, you know, like, if they ever think there's a single bit of chance you lose your 1st round pick, it's like, we better go get that back because that's so damn important, right? But for me, I'm just like, well, yes, I'm aware that we could lose these picks, but it just so happened to work out that we traded with the Spurs in this deal, right? Like, there was a shot that, or there was a prior pretty high chance that LaVine doesn't get traded in a trade that involves the Spurs, okay? So there was already a really good chance where you don't get your full rights to your pick back, and you're going to have to rebuild anyway, okay? So I personally look at the quantity of picks, and I don't really care where they end up, like, whether it's 1st or 2nd round. Like, yeah, obviously first rounders are more valuable, but if you're instead able to just add to your accumulation of picks versus trying to get the rights to a pick that you're probably going to own for most of the years, like, I would personally take that over what the Bulls did. But for some people, though, it's all about the quality of picks, right? Like, they are like, well, we can't lose the 1st round pick. Like, it's just, there's no shot. We can't do that. And I'm like, well, like, again, you're probably going to keep it this year. I have full faith you're probably keeping it in 2026. And if you actually rebuild 2027, I agree. It's probably a little bit more up in the air. But if you just accumulate a bunch of picks, it's fine. But again, that's just my 2 cents. I'm just looking at that way. So yeah, that's still, though, like what I said earlier in my tweets today and about, like, the whole Lonzo Ball and Nikola Vucevic deals. Like, you need to trade these guys if you can get any 2nd rounders for them. The whole Bulls Nation right now that's like, no, we can't trade Lonzo Ball. We need to bring him back. I'm like, why? Like, there's no reason to do this if you're rebuilding. A lot of people are trying to convince me that keeping Lonzo around is going to help the development of these players. And I've been very adamant about this whole thing that I don't think Lonzo Ball is a point guard. I've been pretty adamant that I think Lonzo Ball is a complimentary wing, and he looks best next to star players. Like, that's where Lonzo shines his best. Sorry, my ad block is messed up. But I really just don't think that Lonzo Ball staying, or like, is gonna really be helping these players like develop or anything like that. I really have my doubts about that. Like, he isn't a Chris Paul where you're going to be able to run the offense through Lonzo Ball and be like, okay, yeah, he's going to be a guy that's going to, like, initiate everything in offense, help make sure that guys get a bunch of easier shots, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? It's also, at least in my opinion, it's not worth the risk to let him hit unrestricted free agency and pray to God that he re-signs with us, right? And that you're like, okay, instead of like letting him just try to like, or praying to God he re-signs and letting him hit unrestricted free agency, it is not worth that risk at all when you can maybe trade him for a second rounder right now. You should absolutely just be trading for a second rounder at this point. I don't know if that's on the table, but it seems like a lot of teams are interested. So you do the proper thing and you trade him for a second round pick then. I'm just, that's the part that I can't believe there are Bulls fans that disagree with me on this, because I think honestly there is no argument for this one. The argument, again, the people's argument is like, oh, well, we got to play players next year. I'm like, well, we have Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins to play next year. So I promise you, we're not only just going to be playing a bunch of rookies, but also, again, like, this whole idea that he's going to be helping the development of the players is just false. It's just not true. Like, yes, Lonzo is a very nice player to have. He makes the team look a lot better when he's on the floor. But at the same time, his best overall traits helps a winning team more than a rebuilding team. Okay, his best value is on defense, being a free safety and getting steals and doing good rotations. And on offense, his best thing is his 3-point shooting. That's not helping your other younger players besides maybe just better spacing, which you can go and get that pretty much anywhere right now in the NBA. Okay, like, you can go and sign a guy that is not going to be about to hit unrestricted free agency in the offseason to be your floor spacer. It's okay. Okay? Like, I don't understand the thought process about it. I think it's a really weak argument from people. Second round picks are valuable in a rebuild at the end of the day. I really think that when it comes to these people that I think, no, second rounders, it's not worth it. I just don't understand it. I really don't. This Bulls team, if you can trade any of these guys for second round picks right now in terms of the vets, you do it. Just because it's not a first round pick doesn't mean you should not do the deal. You should do the deal. And I'm going to lose my mind if I find out that, oh, there was a trade the Bulls turned down where Nikola Vucevic would have been traded to this team for a salary filler and 2 second rounders, and they decide not to do the deal because they want a first rounder for him. It's just like, if I find out that is the case and the Bulls don't trade Vuce, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, that cannot happen if the Bulls are actually talking to teams right now. You need to trade Vuce. You just have to. I don't care what the return is. You got to trade him. And especially if there are future assets, you just got to trade the man. Please, for the love of God. And once again, you don't have many second rounders in the upcoming years. You have Sacramento's pick in the second round this year, and then you don't have any second round picks the next 2 years. You need second round picks. It's okay. Like, there just has to be a mindset shift suddenly for a lot of people, and I don't know why people can't shift that mindset. I honestly think, though, a lot of Bulls fans have been actually, like, intoxicated by AK to think that picks don't really matter too much because AK's been throwing them around like they're nothing, bro. Like, I actually think that some people are all of a sudden on the AK train of like, yeah, picks don't really matter too much. I'm like, excuse me? Like, you're rebuilding. Any pick is valuable. The Utah Jazz just got 2 second round picks in the Luka Doncic deal, right? That's, again, like, that's all right, awesome. That's a very good thing by Danny Ainge. Like, he did the proper thing. So are you going to tell me that the 2 picks that the Jazz got in Luka Doncic deal plus Hood Schifino is worthless? No, that's a very solid thing to do in a rebuild. That's the correct thing to do. I don't understand why people can't understand that. But for some reason, people are like, nah, it's not that big thing. Second round picks are meaningless. I'm like, what? It's a rebuild. You're rebuilding. Yeah, second round picks don't really mean too much in a winning team, but you're not winning. You're supposed to be rebuilding. That's the whole point of this deal, or this whole thing. It's just the rebuild. Which you end up with City in the deal. Oh, I mean, yeah, I would love them too, but you know, you're not gonna get that, I guess. Lonzo for sure moves so much off ball that he isn't a point guard. I've been adamant about it. Like, Lonzo is not a point guard. He is just straight up not a point guard. But you know, people are gonna be upset. I'd rather play a random second round player than Kevin for how that helps the team longer run. Well, I mean, just in general, though, like, just having the pick helps the team. Like, you don't need to have the pick this year, but it would help, right? But like, there's also the reality of the situation where there might be a time where if you have enough second round picks, you might be able to trade into the first round. Like, that's stuff that I value. Okay, like some teams, like if they have like a late first round pick, like you might be able to trade like 3 second round picks and get into the first round. Okay, like that's the stuff that I don't think people are thinking about, where it's like that's important. Okay, like it's not gonna happen consistently, but like that's something you need to be prepared for. And again, any young talent is good in a rebuild. I don't care where the picks are. Like, yeah, I'll gladly, if the Bulls have a second round pick, or they do, but if they have an extra second round pick this year because they traded Lonzo Ball, I think it's a good thing. And yes, you would also play them over Kevin Huerter, honestly. We don't need facilitators to help them. We learn. Them learn. We have plenty of guards. Yeah, I mean, in general though, like if you really need a vet, then go and sign a vet. You'll have your non-taxpayer mid-level exception. You have plenty of money to go sign a vet. Okay, like we don't need Lonzo Ball to be here. You can go and get a veteran easily. And I see your comment, Unstoppable. I mean, I do think that Zoe would be a nice vet to have on this team, but he's about to hit unrestricted free agency. I think he's just going to leave. So if I want a vet, I want a locker room one like Patty Mills or Steven Adams, depending on what kind of need there is, and they don't need minutes as much anyway at their age. If I had to have vets, oh yeah, that's definitely what I want. Yeah, those are like honestly 2 perfect guys to go and get for a rebuilding team. You like the vets that you can maybe rely on them for like 10 minutes a game or something like that, and yeah, they're not like a major part of the rotation or anything. The front office has a verbal agreement with Zoe to resign. Well, if that is the case, then why not just sign the contract now? Lonzo's eligible for a contract extension. He could sign it right now then. So if that is the case, Unstoppable, then why hasn't he signed it? Like, he could just sign it right now. Like, why hasn't he signed it? Like, unless they're offering him a max contract, which would be the stupidest thing in the world, then why doesn't he just sign it right now? Then I'm not talking about this at the moment. Like, yeah, if you're able to just make sure Lonzo is booked in for the next 3 seasons on a new contract extension, then sign it now. But he hasn't signed it now. Hence why I don't think he's staying here. Like, if Lonzo really wanted to stay here and the Bulls and him have an agreement, then he signs an extension right now. But as you can see right now, they don't have a contract extension in place. Like, it's just that's not the case. So, I'm just saying, like, I think there is evidence that it's like, no, they're not like, Lonzo's not going to be like guaranteed, yeah, he's going to stay here. Well, it's probably only resign if can't find a trade partner. Well, if they can't find a trade partner, then I hope he resigns like the next day. So like if they don't trade Lonzo on February 6th, then I hope that he's signing a contract extension on February 7th. Because like that, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off if I find out then like, oh no, he's gonna head an unrestricted free agency and probably leave for Charlotte. Like, that's gonna really piss me off. Like, you should have just traded him if you could. Yeah, again, I'm not here to try to convince anybody or anything like that about certain things, but the way that some people talk about things, I'm just like, whew. I'm okay either for Lonzo. Vooch is the primary that matters in dire need of trading. Kobe's my second. Please trade. I mean, yeah, those are probably my 2 guys that I'm like really looking to trade right now. Don't know about Kobe, honestly. I kind of, I'm worried that some teams are picking up that like he's probably just a bench player, so it's like, Bulls probably overvalue him, and so they're not getting the return that they probably want. But with Vooch, yeah, I'm scared. I think that he's here to stay now, and I'm honestly just saying that because I said the same thing for Zach. Like, I legit said in my postgame stream after the Pistons game that I think that LaVine's just here to stay, and then he got traded like 4 hours later. So, or not even 4 hours later. So like, I'm just hoping that it goes the proper way here. I feel about Kobe getting traded. I think it's the correct thing to do. I really think with Kobe, just because, one, I know that when it comes to him, he's gonna if the Bulls keep him around until he hits unrestricted free agency, he's gonna want a major contract, and I just don't think he's worth it. But 2, I think for him, he's a guy that if he's gonna be part of this future, like, he's gonna really want the ball in his hands and like try to be like, a major part of the offense, and I just don't think that he's worth investing that into. He's also currently right now on a very cheap contract, so his value right now is the highest it will be. It will never get any higher. Even if he has a great season next season, okay, like his value is going to be lower just because he's on the last year of his contract then. So with him soon to be 25 and knowing that he's going to want a major contract, and the Bulls will not be able to give him a contract extension because he's only making so much in this current contract, I think it's worth going in and trading him now. If you're able to get any future value, like I don't know if you're going to get a first round pick, but if you're able to get like multiple second rounders, you definitely do it, I think, in my opinion. I think it's the correct decision to go ahead and just trade Kobe now. And again, like I think that's kind of just the way that I've looked at a lot of guys on this roster. Like, as much as I'd say to keep Io, like it's the same thing. Like if you're able to get a first rounder for Io DeSumo because he plays both ends of the floor and shoots really efficiently, like yeah, you go ahead and you trade him. But I don't think you're gonna get that. So I personally think you like holding on to Io is fine, because he's gonna be significantly cheaper than Kobe when it comes to his contract. So I think the risk versus reward is okay. But again, like when it comes to Kobe, I think he's gonna want a lot of money, and he's gonna want the ball in his hands and like all this and that. And I'm just like, I would just personally trade him now. Kobe trading might be getting off the contract. Feel for guys, I would rather invest in Io as a starter. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Kobe's value is peak at the moment for what it might be. Oh, for sure. Kobe's value right now is the highest it will ever be. It will never get any higher than Curly Rick right now. Besides last season. Last season was higher for sure for Kobe, but obviously that's last season, so we can't live in the past. Io could at least slide in with the future pieces. I would trade off Io for sure still, but if picking between the two. Well, again, like I think with Io, he's gonna be much cheaper. So like I think it's worth like the risk again. It's worth trying to like if you want to keep him, like he's not gonna ask for as much money. So it's not gonna be as a big of a detriment to the team if like, oh, we kept him and he's gonna want this contract. Like it's not that big of a deal. My biggest thing with Kobe is that like because again, Emmanuel Quickley got 5 years, $162 million. Okay. So if Kobe White looks at Emmanuel Quickley, be like, well, I'm better than Quickley. Like I average more points per game. I'm a better player. Then I deserve more than that. Like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. If I'm Kobe White, so I don't blame him for that. So if you're the Bulls, are you going to be willing to pay Kobe White like $180 million instead? I don't think so. At least for me, I'm not willing to pay him that. Call me crazy, but I feel they need to trade Josh also. I mean, again, it's all for the right deal. If you get a nice deal, then you definitely go ahead and do it. But I don't think personally the Bulls will get something that's worth it. I think it's okay. Just hold it out to them and see what happens in restricted free agency. Josh is lower value at the moment. I think more potential than Kobe. He's had more signs of life to me. I think they've been kind of similar in terms of signs of life. In terms of like impact player. Do I think Giddey will be a star? No. But in terms of, I guess, like overall impact, like I do appreciate Giddey trying defensively, right? But yeah, again though, it's about like, there's always a price. If you get a nice trade offer for Josh Giddey, you go ahead and do it. Especially because he's on the last year of his contract, but he is restricted free agency, right? Like Kobe's going to be an unrestricted free agent. That's kind of the reason why I'm more so like, yeah, we need to go ahead and just trade him now. But with Josh, he's going to be restricted free agent, so you have pretty much full control over him. Even when he hits free agency, he's restricted. So it's just kind of just contextual with everything. Well, I've seen Kobe at this point, but Giddey, he is taller, younger, and he has rebounding assets if he has to be off ball while Kobe doesn't. Right. There's that. Obviously, Giddey has had his offensive struggles where Kobe, at least, you'd hope you at least get 18 to 19 a game from him, right? But then obviously Kobe's not really bringing anything defensively. So, yeah, it's just kind of what you value at the end of the day, but also just the situations that you're in. If the Bulls are trying to, like, I just want to make it clear. If the Bulls are trying to stay relevant, which, again, I don't know if there is a chance the Bulls are trying to stay relevant, right? Like, I honestly think the Bulls, there is a chance that the Bulls are trying to, like, be good still and not hit the rebuild button with the deals that have been made so far. I would keep Kobe. Like, I would do everything in my willpower just to keep him. But if you're properly rebuilding, then you trade Kobe for future assets. That's the proper thing to do. with the, again, contract situation and with the current situation of the team, that is the correct thing to do. But we'll see. I don't know. I have my doubts about the Bulls rebuilding, actually. And I think I have every right to doubt that because the Bulls are stupid. It's hard to watch Josh. I think Josh has had definitely moments of it's hard to watch him, but I would also say the same for Kobe White. Would rather watch Ben Simmons? I don't know about that, but sure. You got a good player in the draft. Who would you trust to feed them the ball of Kobe or Giddey, especially if a big man? Well, I think Kobe's better in the pick and roll, so I think that Kobe would open up more opportunities for the guy. But I think Giddey's a better passer, so I think if there is ever a chance, then Giddey will make sure he gets the pass. But either way, though, it's not exactly amazing. Again, I'm more so the reason why I'm just saying with Giddey, it's like the situation at play is that he's restricted free agent. Like that's kind of the reason why I'm just like, one, his value is pretty low, and two, he's a restricted free agent. So like, yeah, he's gonna hit free agency, but like you're not that worried about losing him. So or losing him for nothing, right? So it's like not the big of a deal at the end of the day. I would take Ben to overall them if it was a single game needed to win, but that's a different thing to rebuild. Oh, I mean, yeah, like you're definitely not taking Ben Simmons now. You're like, why? Like Ben Simmons now is I don't know what the hell he's going to be moving forward, but yeah, he's not definitely someone to be on a rebuilding team. So if a lob threat big and three shooter versus a pick and roll type player might slide each way. No, I understand that. I'm just saying again, I'm just like, I think Kobe is the better pick and roll player, right? And if you want a guy to open up others with his overall on-ball gravity, then he's going to be the guy to open up the guy, right? Like if you're trying to be like, okay, I want to open up a three-point shooter or a big man, he's the guy that opens up those players. But Giddey's clearly the better passer. So if the guy is ever open, right, then Giddey is going to make sure they get the ball. So it's whatever you come down to, like whatever you value more. Like personally for me, like I look at, on-ball gravity, right? So if I had to probably choose, like then I'm trusting the guy that's going to make sure I get a proper pick and roll done. But in terms of that, again, that's not what you're always looking at though. Like, because in terms of the whole picture with the contract situation, right, and knowing Kobe's situation, it makes more sense to trade Kobe White right now because he's going to be an unrestricted free agent after next season, and it's going to want a lot of money versus Josh Giddey's a restricted free agent and you have full control over him. So you're not going to lose him in restricted free agency, most likely, right? Unless he gets a massive bag that is just like, oh, well, we're not going to match that. And if you do decide to move on from him, then you can always try to work out a sign and trade, right? So you're not just going to lose him from nothing. So again, it's just all like contextual stuff. Giddey is partly useless for pick and roll as they defend him with power forward or center anyway, so it does so little to trade who is defending with the center. Yeah, I agree with that. It was interesting to watch though. I mean, like they Bam was on Giddey a lot today, which was kind of interesting to look at. Obviously, you have Khalil Ware out there, so he can take Vooch. So adding Ware to Giddey, Ayo, Matas lineup. I mean, I think that lineup specifically has some lack of 3-point shooting. I know obviously Buzelis hit 4 tonight. Ayo hit 2, Giddey hit 2 tonight, but I mean, both Giddey and Ayo are in the low 30s this year, and Buzelis, he's been kind of up and down. Hopefully Buzelis will continue the upward trajectory, but I mean, obviously having Ware would be awesome, because he might honestly be the best shooter of all of them. But I do think that lineup has some 3-point shooting issues, but it does obviously have some young potential, which would be awesome to watch, especially defensively, bro. With Matas and Khalil Ware as your front court defensively, like that's a very nice defensive unit to have. If this front office don't go out on a full rebuild, I'm going to be pissed. I will be too, Unstoppable, but I'll be absolutely pissed off if the front office doesn't go a full rebuild. But the reason why I'm saying this, though, is just because I think if you are fully rebuilding, you don't give up a pick and net Levine deal. Okay, so there's one. But also, two, the Bulls have been trying to trade Zach LaVine for years. Okay, this isn't like, oh, we just decided to hit the rebuild button now and we finally got the LaVine deal, so we're officially rebuilding. Okay, like that's not been the case. Like they were trying to trade Zach last year. They were trying to trade Zach last year, and obviously DeRozan was still going to be here, right? Like they weren't going to trade DeRozan last year, right? So they were trying to trade Zach and still try to be relevant. That's the reason why I'm scared, right? I would be very concerned if for the Bulls right now, because like they are like they're people are acting like, oh, we officially hit the rebuild button, but the Bulls already kind of made it clear, right, that they were trying to trade Zach when they weren't trying to rebuild. They were just trying to trade Zach. So if the whole thing was just to get LaVine's contract off the roster because they just hated it so much, okay, that doesn't mean they're trying to rebuild. That just means that they just tried to trade Zach just to get his contract off the team, right? That just means that, oh, okay, well, we finally got, like, they think they got more cap flexibility. We got the contract off. We can finally go and make our good moves to be a good team now. Like, that's what I'm concerned about, because I think there is a legit chance that that is what they're doing. And again, they have every reason, like, they have every excuse now to go and be good, because they don't need to be bad to keep the pick. So, I am concerned. I am genuinely concerned right now with how this is looking. So, if they go and trade, obviously, Kobe White, if they go and trade Vooch, if they trade Lonzo Ball for future assets to help a rebuilding situation, I'll feel a lot better. Okay, then I'll actually feel like, oh, we're actually rebuilding now. Okay, I feel a lot better about the situation. But there is a world here where the whole point of doing this deal, right, was to get our full control for a pick back so that we can go and trade our picks again. Okay, like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but there is a world where the front office wanted full control of their pick back just so that they can go and trade the 2026 pick or something. Okay, like, I'm being dead serious. That could be a reason why we got our pick back this time, and not just because of like, oh, we're rebuilding, we got to make sure to keep it. Like, there is that world. I would hate to be in that world, but we might actively be living in that world currently, where the Bulls are going and they got their pick back just so that they can try to make big moves in the next couple of seasons to go in and trade for certain guys. Because I mean, if you look at it again, like, we have basically all our picks again, right? And, you know, we'll see if this Portland pick ever goes back to us, which we'll see. I mean, we have a lot of years to look at here for the Portland pick to come to us. But, I mean, there is a world where the front office is like, okay, we got full control of our pick back, so now how can we trade our 2026 and 2028 picks to go and make a major splash? And I'm gonna lose my mind if they decide to do that. There is also the whole thing, like, if you're wondering like why they need to get Zach off the books, then it's because then they're trying to like go out and like sign guys in like 2026 or something like that, in free agency, which is I don't know how much free agent, I really don't know how much pull you're gonna have in free agency as the Chicago Bulls right now, because I just don't think you're a very enticing destination currently. I'm okay even if it just Vooch is traded as a starting point. Oh, please. I mean, to me, that's mandatory. Like, that's not even just like, oh, I'm okay with it. Like, no, you need to trade Nikola Vucevic. Like, I don't even care what the return is. Nobody trade is a big bonus, any gain into your seconds. Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you can trade Kobe again, like, great. And the roster spots are even better, but not expecting much of the Bulls there. No, for sure not. I think the Lakers getting either Nick Claxton or Williams will time for where Vooch can be traded as options slim. I see what you're saying. I already think the Lakers are not looking for Vooch. Like, they've been kind of pretty adamant that like they want a rim protecting big. Like, they don't even need a scoring big. They just need a rim protecting big. So I personally don't think Vooch is even on the table for them. But I will say though, when it comes to the Warriors, like, it'll be interesting to watch that situation unfold. I was like, wait the hell the front office gave up in a pick. Oh, I know. Yeah, I was pissed off we gave up that 2028 pick that we just got from the Kings back to the Kings. Still finding to think there was a world where that Fox was available and Claxton too as a retail direction that suits the style for Bulls front office. I prefer rebuilding, but for how it works, I'm always trying. Oh, I mean, they don't have the assets for a De'Aaron Fox, right? But I understand what you're saying, like with Nick Claxton for sure. Yeah. If Claxton doesn't end up on Golden State Warriors or Lakers, then he's still likely available for rim protector that is on an okay contract. Even though I don't like him, he suits the need for retools if we are stuck. Yeah, so his contract goes down, which is great. It's just, yeah, like he's just at the point now where he's suited for a winning team, not a rebuilding team. Yeah, I'll be. Oh god, if the Bulls trade for Nick Claxton, bro, I'm gonna. I mean, I'll be okay with it if they try to rebuild with him, but I do think though that he is more so suited for a retooling team at the moment. Stuck with retool aims for front office, yeah. Oh yeah, Vooch not for Lakers. It's the other teams who have Claxton and Williams in their sights losing one. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. So the teams that want centers, but those centers get moved, then it's like, okay, who's left, right? Yeah. I understand what you're saying, because then it's like, oh, well, Vooch is available. Should we just go ahead and just get him instead? Hopefully. Personally, I feel all the front offices should ice the Lakers to make up for that Luka trade. No one traded with them for 2 years. That's honestly very funny. Good luck with that, honestly, though. It's not gonna, that won't happen. But it'd be funny if that did happen, honestly. Now, if I were a front office person, I am calling Nico Harrison constantly and be like, hey, so is Derek Lively available? Can we get him for cheap? Like, what do you want for Derek Lively? You want a couple second rounders? We'll give you that. I very much dislike Claxton this season. Very poor play compared to his peak. Oh yeah, he has not played great. Yeah, I'm aware. Lakers will just get some stupid cheap off signing if frozen out of trades. Oh yeah, I know. The Lakers always get their way. Flyver for P. Will make the call. Oh my god. Yeah. Do you want Patrick Williams? You want a defense, right? Nico Harrison. So here's a very good defensive-minded wing who can shoot some three-point shots for you. That is on a pretty cheap contract for a guy that's going to be starting for you in the future. Do you want to go ahead and give us Derek Lively instead? Yeah, that's oh god, I wish, bro. I still can't believe it, bro. I honestly, someone made a tweet, someone sent a tweet out today saying like, I can't believe Luka Doncic is a Laker, and then someone recorded a tweet saying that me every 5 minutes, and I'm just like, yo, that is so me right now. Like I still cannot believe that trade went down. It's still so mind-boggling to me that the Doncic trade happened. I'm still mind-boggled by it. I still can't believe it's real. And honestly, it probably won't even set in for me until I see Luka play in a Lakers uniform, and he's probably gonna play this upcoming Saturday. But it's just like, God, like I still can't believe this has actually happened. We're actually in this world where Luka Doncic, someone got traded. It makes no damn sense. Front office missed with Craig too. They would have gotten a second. I don't know if they would have gotten a second for Torrey Craig at this moment from what we've been seeing. But I will say though, I think you maybe would have been able to at least get rid of Torrey Craig's contract off the roster and not just have to waive him. So that is a miss for sure. They definitely missed on that. And that making the trade, like when the Levine trade, when they did, it messed up their timing so that they were forced to basically waive Torrey Craig and Chris Duarte. That's something that they did mess up. They clearly were not prepared to make the next move after the Levine trade. That is definitely something they messed up. Walker Kessler trade, since Jazz don't want him. I mean, hell yeah, I'd gladly take Walker Kessler. Is that possible though? Like, I think the Jazz want a ton of picks for him, and it's just like, I'm not going to give you a ton of picks for Walker Kessler. But, I mean, yeah, hell, I'll gladly take Walker Kessler back. God, he's only making $2 million, bro. Oh my God, that's actually really difficult to kind of work with. If you're, let's see if you're the Bulls here. I mean, what would they even want from us, right? Like, would they want Dalen Terry instead? Because that'd be actually kind of funny, right? Because Kessler is picked just before Terry, so it's just like, I don't know. I mean, they would probably want Buzelis, and it's like, yeah, you're not getting Buzelis, so I don't know. What do you want? Like, are you willing to take Zach Collins? Because, like, you're probably not going to be willing to take Zach Collins for Walker Kessler in any sort of deal, even if you're getting a bunch of firsts. So, like, can you just trade him to us? Actually, I wonder, with the TPE, so, like, I can just do this, right? And I just have to send out, like draft picks instead. So, like, sure, this hasn't updated, by the way, so this is frustrating as hell from Spot Track. So like, yeah, we'll send you this pick, and I don't know, we'll send you then every second round pick that we have now. I don't know what the trade would be. I just know the Jazz would just want picks out of it. Luka trade is the one thing comforting how bad the Zach trade is, because it seems even worse for Mavs regards. So, oh, bro, I even tweeted out saying, listen, Nico Harrison is the dumbest person in the world, but Arturas Karnisovas is still damn dumb because this Levine trade is garbage. But yeah, like, no matter what, that Luka trade will go down as probably one of the worst trades in history. Like, there might honestly, like, people are gonna look at like bad trades in a different light just because of the Luka trade happened. Like, there's gonna be like a horrific trade that's gonna come up like in the next couple of seasons, and we're just gonna be like, well, at least it wasn't Luka Doncic trade. Like, that's honestly just gonna be a reaction just because that Luka trade was insane. Few seconds for Walker. Oh my god, bro, I would gladly take it just straight a few seconds for Walker Kessler, but you know, not gonna happen. Like, I keep being shocked by the rumors of how little has been asked for him. He's a decent young dude, so it surprises me. I just think the Jazz are in this weird spot again where they're just like, well, we still suck. Lowry's 27, so like he's not gonna be our future guy. And as weird as it sounds, Walker Kessler is now 23 years old. So you kind of might be looking to trade for him, and just because of just the way Walker Kessler plays with you know, rim protector, rim running center, efficient, right, and very athletic, like you might honestly be able to like get multiple first round picks for him. And because he wasn't like drafted for like in like a top, you know, he wasn't like a lottery pick, right, you in your head you're kind of thinking to yourself, well, if I can trade a late first round pick for multiple first round picks, then yeah, we do it, right? I don't know the logic, honestly, about that for Danny Ainge, but sure. I mean, Danny Ainge is just a pick merchant, so he needs to find any way to get picks. The trades they are comparing are nothing as bad as at least SGA was about potential. Luka is better than AD now. Not a Glass Canyon and younger. Oh, I mean, everything about the Luka Doncic trade makes no damn sense to me. Like, the fact that they didn't get more from the Lakers, and even if they got like Austin Reeves and then every pick possible, it still wouldn't make sense to me if I was the Mavericks. Everything about the trade is still so mind-boggling to me with the Doncic trade. Like, even if you got Dalton Connect, Austin Reeves, every first-round pick available from the Lakers, and then also every swap, I still wouldn't do the deal. It wouldn't even make any sense to me. I would still be pissed off if I was a Mavericks fan. I would still probably be just as upset as I was if I was a Mavericks fan today. But the fact that you only got one first round pick, that's the 2029 pick, which is basically worthless now to you. Anthony Davis, and you know, Max Christie's nice, but again, that still doesn't make any sense. I just don't get it, bro. It really makes no sense to me. The SGA trade, it looks bad for the Clippers, right? And like, it still though it's not as bad though, right? Because yes, it's like every damn pick in the century, but like Paul George was coming off of like an MVP caliber season, so it's like that makes sense still. Like, I understand that everyone's gonna be looking at it back, like, you know, after, you know, seeing what happened with Paul George. They never really got far. Or, I mean, they made it to the Western Conference Finals, but they never won a championship, and yeah, we saw Paul George then just leave. But you know, I think that trade, like, I understand everyone's like, wow, like, Shea's an MVP candidate, and if the Thunder own the Clippers drafts the next, you know, couple of seasons, it's like, I get it, but it makes more sense though for both sides than the Doncic deal, like, easily. Like, the Clippers making that deal is not a bad decision at all, because it not only, you kind of have to think of it as like, not only did you get you Paul George, but also got you Kawhi Leonard. So it makes a lot of sense. Larry's been overrated. Yeah, I think Larry Markkinen has been pretty disappointing this year, not gonna lie. I think for all the Bulls fans that were complaining about him becoming an all-star and having that one season, he has not really been anywhere. I mean, he's had some nice games, but he just hasn't really been that great this year. Rebuilding team, so, you know, I'm not gonna be like, oh, see, the Jazz suck because Larry Markkinen is not doing great. Like, see, it's all Markkinen. I'm not gonna be that guy. But if you're wondering, Markkinen makes more money than Levine in his contract. So, yeah. I don't know what you think about that, Bulls fans, but I was kind of still when I people were like questioning me like, do you regret trading Markkanen? I'm like, not really. Like I don't really view him as a guy that's gonna be like a on ball dominant, like he's your superstar type guy. He's when he's right and he's playing the correct way, like he's extremely efficient. But everything for him has to be set up for him, right? He's a guy that is a very heavy catch and shoot player, a guy that needs the ball set up for him. Like he's really not even like a number 2, honestly. Like I want him, like you would hope he can become a number 2, but he's honestly probably a number 3 at most for what he does. But then obviously this year for him has just not been that great. Like his shooting percentages are way down compared to what we're used to from Markkanen from his great year. But I mean, like as a 7-footer, he is shooting 42% this season. Like his All-Star year, he shot 50% from the field and 39% from 3. This year, he is shooting 42% from the field and 35% from 3. He's also missed a lot of games due to injury. He's only getting 6 rebounds a game. Like it just he looks like honestly he took a major step back this year. And obviously last year he missed a lot of games due to injury. But people were still like, oh well, so great efficiency, right? Like the efficiency just went way down this year for him. So I'm not really that upset. Like I'm okay with what trading Markkanen, and I just honestly think that he's probably just feeling the best possible in Utah, and it is what it is. I think that with Lauri, like, yeah, like he eventually got to be an All-Star once, but I think I have a right to be like, will he ever be an All-Star again? Like, I don't know. That might have been like a one-season wonder for him of being that All-Star that year, but like, he might never hit it again, honestly. As much as I want Vooch to be sold off to Golden State, I actually would want the unlikely dream of KD and LeBron to go fight for a last few as the death of that generation fends off newcomers together. That would actually be awesome to watch. I just don't know how that's possible, honestly. Would just be the perfect time for those 3 to play together. It'd not be OP, still fit, have a great narrative. Yeah, it wouldn't be OP, but it would still be pretty damn hard to stop. I mean, Kevin Durant is still averaging 27 a game. Like, I understand people are like, he's getting older, but like the dude is still averaging 27. Obviously LeBron is not what LeBron used to be. And Steph Curry is, he's also slowed down this year, but yeah, I just don't know how you would actually do that. We talked about it multiple times, but I still can't believe they didn't get at least 1 pick for Zach. Oh, I'm still shocked by it, bro. That's the reason I'm still pissed off. If you can trade Herter and get some seconds out of it, I'm fine. Like, I'll be okay with the deal. But yeah, the fact that you gave up a 2nd-round pick in this deal is so stupid to me. Zach over Lauri. Lauri worth more than what's traded for, though, and is a number 3 or 4 option. Yeah, I think what Lauri turned out to be, he's definitely he's worth more than what you got for him, right? But for all things considered, what Lauri did at the time, right? Like, for what Lauri was doing so far in a Bulls uniform, like, I'm okay with the trade, honestly. It's not amazing, but like, I was okay with it. Lauri is the worst loss for Bulls recent years, potentially. Recent being loose. Oh, I see. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think the Butler trade was definitely mismanaged. You didn't get a pick out of the Butler deal. You then also sent the 15th overall pick to just trade up to number 7 to draft Lauri. Like, it made no damn sense. The Butler trade still doesn't make any sense to me. I know LaVine turned into a 2-time All-Star with the Bulls, but like, you should have still done better with that Butler deal and gotten more draft capital in return. The fact that you traded your 15th overall pick in that deal to just move up to number 7, and yeah, you got Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn, but like, you should have gotten LaVine, Chris Dunn, Lauri Markkanen, and 2 first-round picks out of the deal. Like, the way that they did it makes no damn sense. I'm aware that LaVine was, at that time, he was a 19-point per game scorer, so like, I'm sure the Timberwolves like heavily used that against the Bulls to be like, well, you probably have like a guy that's going to be averaging like 20 plus for you moving forward, so we don't need to trade you a first round pick. But at the bare minimum, you needed to at least keep your 15th overall pick in that deal. You should not have been trading your 15th overall pick in that deal. And it didn't even turn out to be anything for the Timberwolves. They got Justin Patton out of it, and it's just like, oh, okay, that was nothing. New front office took an L on every trade they ever made. Oh, I mean, yeah, almost every single trade they've made has been an L. I was wrong about the Gafford deal, but that was an L. The Vooch deal was an L. The DeMar DeRozan overall deal, I mean, you can argue about that sign and trade, but I mean, it's not looking too great, right? Yeah, Levine deal was an L. The Caruso deal, at least in my opinion, is still not good. And we'll see what happens moving forward. But yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know if you guys heard, but like there was some people reporting today about how they've been asking other front offices about who their top front offices are, and instead of them giving them like their top 5 front offices, they instead were saying that we think the Bulls are just one of the worst front offices in the league. Like that was constantly brought up. Hence, yeah, makes a lot of damn sense. We've been all saying it. This Bulls front office is genuine garbage. What's going on, Magugula? Good to see you. Can't wait for the Lakers and Spurs rivalry again in the late 2020s. Oh yeah, I mean, that'd be cool to see if it all works out properly. Now, Rockets and OKC should be strong late 2020s. I think we'll see all 4 of them, honestly. Yeah, I honestly think we'll see all 4, assuming that nothing gets out of hand. I don't know about the Rockets, but I mean, they should theoretically still be good then. Blazers blowout win versus the Pacers. They're hot lately. Might get that pick eventually after all. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be this year. I mean, like the Blazers still have a long ways to go in terms of like getting into the playoffs or even the play-in, honestly, right? Like they're still 13th. Yeah. But in terms of like, I honestly think though for like, the future years, right? Like if the Blazers like, I don't know, maybe like 2027 or something, like the Blazers might be a playoff team that year, like make it via the play-in, right? Then we'll get the pick then, which would be great, right? So hopefully that does happen at some point. We have until 2028, so it's like we have 3 more years after this year for that to happen. So you know, you kind of just have to hope that it will eventually happen here. If this was a different organization, would they be fired by now? Oh, for sure, they definitely would. But it's the Bulls. OKC has picks for years to keep up there. Oh, I think Oklahoma City will still be up there. Yeah, I'm more concerned about the Rockets. Like, I think in theory the Rockets should still be up there, but I also do think that they're playing super well because they made the proper vet moves, right? Like Dylan Brooks, like Fred VanVleet, Steven Adams, right? And so like whenever if those guys are still around, like are they, right? But if Amen Thompson is just gonna still be amazing, then yeah, they'll still be fine. I mean, bro, Amen Thompson is looking phenomenal, bro. He's looking incredible. Are we gonna get a trade for half a bag of Doritos? I wouldn't be shocked. Half a bag of Doritos and an extra $500,000 cash considerations. Bulls have always had a style of wanting what I call aesthetic players that look pretty to watch, with handles like Zach and Ball, etc. Kyra would suit that too, even though not a Bull, just the type. Is it only handles, or is it like watching guys, like for example with Zach, I think what made him so aesthetically pleasing was his athleticism, right? Like Levine made everything look so simple. Like, yeah, he didn't have the best handles in the world, but with Levine, like every layup looks so simple, every dunk looks so simple, every 3-point shot, like he could just like Zach would just be able to, like, he's dribbling and like he's able to just get into a shot like that, right? Like that's what made him so aesthetically pleasing to watch. With Ball, I do think that some of it is the dribbling, but like his passing is just like an art. And then also with Lonzo, I think he's extremely fast, so that's awesome to watch. And then I think with him also, his defense and his anticipation is just fun to look at. In terms of handles, like I think Derrick Rose is probably the best of like, oh, his handles were just so incredible to watch, right? But then even like other players, like I think Nate Robinson that like can fall into that category too. Oh, DeMar's a good one, honestly. Yeah, DeMar had great handles. That was great to watch. Here's something to think of: if Chicago trades Jimmy to Boston, they might have had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown or Zoe for sure. Don't know about that. I think the Boston Celtics knew that those Nets picks were seriously valuable. I don't know if necessarily they would have gotten those picks specifically. Would they have gotten the Boston Celtics' own picks? Maybe, but I don't know about those picks, because those were the Nets picks, right? Those were not the Boston Celtics picks. that they got those third overall picks because the Nets were just garbage. After making that Garnett, Pierce, and Terry deal. So I don't know if the Bulls would have necessarily gotten that specifically. Bulls seem to look at players like that much more often than other teams, even DeMar, not knock on Rose. But yeah, I definitely think DeMar DeRozan has better handles than Derrick Rose. I definitely agree with that. I guess Kobe is also starting to like fall into that category. Yeah, I understand what you're saying though. Rose was just a speed demon. I think Derek had some pretty good handles though. He was a speed demon, but I mean, I do think he also has some pretty good handles. I guess also Joakim Noah technically fell into that category as a center. Like Joakim Noah was actually like a pretty good ball handler for a center, especially in the half court. Like obviously, like in a fast break, not really, but like in a half court situation, I think that Joakim Noah was pretty solid, honestly, in terms of his handles. Pau Gasol also was pretty good for a center with his handles. Add Kirk Heinrich to aesthetically pleasing players. Okay, that's actually funny because I would also add a Kirk Heinrich to that, but I know a lot of people that would not add Kirk Heinrich to that. Like, I can't believe how many haters Kirk Heinrich has. I like Kirk Heinrich. He takes tough players, that is for sure. Like the Heat take the players that are 6'5" to 6'8" that they can't really always dribble the basketball, but they are like they definitely have some like thick muscles on them. You know that they're gonna fight through screens and be physical. Like that is definitely like the Miami Heat like culture, which I don't know if that's gonna continue. Honestly, they have some things to look at. Remember them offering those picks? Really? I remember that the Bulls turned down some picks that were up high, but I'll look it up later. And also, I guess it's also just important to admit, like if the Bulls got the third overall pick, there is no guarantee that they pick Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. And I also have to remind myself that the Celtics did get the first overall pick in the Jason Tatum draft. They just traded back with the Sixers. I forgot about that. So I forgot that was a thing. So yeah, forgive me about that one. But yeah, the 76ers traded with the Celtics and traded up. The Celtics traded back. I think the other Ball brothers would have fit. I mean, yeah, I think obviously, if we could get LaMelo, that'd be great. But yeah, not gonna happen. I unfortunately just think LiAngelo is just not that good of a player, so it is what it is with him. Tatum would not get picked by the Bulls. Bulls history would miss so bad. Oh, I mean, yeah, we would pick Josh Jackson in that draft. We would have 100% picked Josh Jackson somehow. God, that's a name. I haven't said that name in forever. God, Josh Jackson, bro. Okay. Let me just go over a couple of things here because I haven't gotten to this just yet, and this is like the biggest Twitter day I've had in a long time. I don't always like this because I know people are just be arguing with me, but yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so I just wanted to just go ahead and just read over this because like as we finish up like the trade talks here, okay? So Casey Johnson just sent this out in the middle of the game, okay? This is I think important to talk about because I think that when it comes to the Bulls trade deadline, like once again, I think you need to trade Vooch. It seems like Lonzo is drawing interest, and Casey does put this in here, so like I understand maybe why a trade doesn't happen with Lonzo, but when it comes to Vucevic, like he has to get moved. Okay, but when it comes to the latest Bulls trade chatter, it's interesting that Casey has this information because the Bulls front office typically just doesn't leak anything, right? But if it is true that Casey Johnson has this info, then the one thing that did come to mind is that Casey Johnson has not tweeted out stuff like this the past 3 seasons at all, right? Like the Bulls have been dormant in the past 3 seasons at the trade deadline, and Casey Johnson hasn't said anything about trade chatter at all, right? Which I think after this tweet right here, it kind of really shows you that the Bulls were legitimately doing nothing at the trade deadlines the past 3 seasons, right? They were just sitting on their asses doing nothing. So the fact that Casey Johnson has this sort of like in on the front office and the trade chatter, like he has some sort of connection. or source, like it very clearly shows you that the Bulls front office was just doing nothing the past three deadlines. So if there is some trade chatter, the Casey Johnson has it. Like he has the info. So here's Casey's kind of just talk here, or sorry, report. Everything is fluid, but the optimism for more moves that surfaced Monday dried up some on Tuesday. So Casey Johnson did report that after LaVine was traded and then, you know, the Bulls were still actively looking to make more deals, that seems to, the talks that were going on seem to just suddenly dry up today. So that's not good. Okay, like that's a very bad thing when it comes to Vucevic's trade market. I'm hoping that that's not going to continue. Like that's something that needs to be figured out, and the Bulls need to trade Vooch for whatever. Okay, Warriors obviously have bigger targets, including Kevin Durant, which is, you know, I won't lie, that trade as we speak right now, Durant going back to the Warriors, like it sounds ridiculous, but it's actually not that ridiculous. Because the Phoenix Suns are not anything special right now. They're basically 500, and if they're just trying to get out of this hell right now, the Warriors have all their picks pretty much. So you would basically just be trading, the Warriors would just be trading their picks back, or all their picks to the Suns to get Durant, and so the Suns would have an ability to kind of reset. And then, you know, once Beal's off the team eventually, which who knows when that will be, but yeah, we'll see when that if that ever does happen. But yeah, it's not that crazy. Which is kind of the reason why, like, yeah, maybe a Vucevic trade is kind of not gonna happen here. And again, the Warriors were probably the main target for Vooch. Or sorry, the main suitor for Vooch. I don't really know any other teams that would need Vucevic at the moment. I know people keep bringing up Lakers. Like, no, it's not gonna be the Lakers. Yeah, I'll be interested about that. Second tweet is about Lonzo drawing interest, but in order to get draft capital out of the pending unrestricted free agents, Bulls would probably have to take long-term salary, which is obviously not something the Bulls should be doing. So I've been saying that if you can trade Lonzo Ball for future draft capital, you should do it. But there's obviously, you know, everything matters. So like if you're going to be taking back long-term salary, right, that is not worth it then. Like there's no reason to do that. So if you can find a salary filler that's not, you know, on a long-term contract, and you can trade Lonzo Ball for that and a second-round pick, then you do it. But if you're trading for a guy that has a pretty big chunk of money, is going to be making a big chunk of money, but as a contract that's like 3 years or longer, it is not worth it then. So yeah, maybe the Lonzo Ball deal is probably out the door at this point, but we'll see. Again, like everything's fluid. New day tomorrow. Obviously, the trade deadline is Thursday, so I'm sure there's gonna be like a last-minute thing going on. So yeah. Lastly, for all the talk of it being hard to move LaVine, he drew significant interest down the stretch. Bucks and Warriors were engaged until near end, while the Nuggets circled back. Pistons engaged as well, although unclear if they wanted to serve as facilitator or acquire LaVine. If you're wondering the reason why I'm pretty pissed off about the LaVine deal still, again, we haven't traded Kevin Huerter since. So the reason why, though, that I'm really pissed off about it is because it does seem like the Bulls may have been able to get maybe a better deal. It just seemed like, though, for the Jake Fisher report, that the Bulls were just wanting to get the deal done now, so like to maybe focus on the other deal. So they just did the Sacramento deal. It seemed like the Warriors had an idea in place to get both LaVine and Vucevic, and the Bulls just had to wait until Dennis Schroeder was available to be traded along with other contracts, which is tomorrow. But the Bulls just didn't want to wait. They just wanted to go ahead and just trade Zach now. So that's frustrating as hell. Like if that is the case, which Jake Fisher's 50-50, okay? Jake Fisher was right about the Kobe White deal. He was also right about the Jordan Poole deal. But he also has missed some things. So I don't know what exactly is correct with Jake Fisher. But if that report is correct, that doesn't make me feel too good, because I think then the Bulls could have gotten something better for Zach. And with the Warriors specifically, it just would have been more salary cap flexibility. Like all three of Schroeder, Looney, and it would have been Kyle Anderson, I think. Like they're all on, or sorry, it would have been GP2. They're all on expiring deals. So like that's the part that's really frustrating to me, because I'm just like, wow, like we could have had that instead. I don't think you may not be able to get a first-round pick out of it, but I think the Warriors would have been willing to give that up. It probably would have been protected though. Like it probably would have been lottery protected. But I think it would have been that at least would have been my theory. But if I'm wrong, then I think you at least get a second rounder or two out of it. Um, and that means also then at the bare minimum, you would have then also traded Vooch. Like that's kind of like the biggest thing about it is just like you would have also traded Vooch in that deal. So I don't know. I'm just I'm always just looking at it. If you're wondering, hold on, give me a second. I'll pull it up here. I bookmarked it, so no, I didn't bookmark it. Hold on, give me one sec. It's on my profile though, because I quote tweeted it because I was pretty pissed, and I got it also. That also got some responses, which is interesting because everyone has their thoughts, and yeah, again, you can have your thoughts. I'm not here to stop you. Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe it wasn't actually true, but the actual tweet itself, it got taken down. Give me 1 second as I pull up Jake Fisher's report. That is the wrong Jake Fisher. Oh my god. This is the reason why I don't show Twitter on stream, because it is unreliable. Hold on. Oh crap, hold on. Sorry. I hate that they did this. Just forgot that they did this whole stupid thing. Does this work? No, it doesn't work. Crap, bro. Okay, I'll go to Bleacher Report. It's not the exact Jake Fisher report, but we'll go off this because they also mentioned it in Bleacher Report. Okay, cool. Where'd it go? Yeah, I genuinely hate I really hate the Bleacher Report on the like the app is just so much better. It's like 10 times better. Give me 1 second though. God, it's so annoying. I'm a little annoyed that they like took back this tweet because like this was actually like this tweet was like it showed me behind the paywall. Okay. Okay. Let's go to Keith Smith then, because I think did he talk about it? Maybe he didn't. Oh my god. Okay, I can't. Hold on. I'm gonna go on my phone because I don't trust Bleacher Report online is just so dumb. Well, great to have good final years. I mean, I would also like that, but I know a lot of people wouldn't like that. Jose Warriors can have ball. I mean, yeah. They would have to just send us things though. That's the issue, right? Okay. That's not it either. Where did I read this? I know I read this on Bleacher Report for sure about like it was like an actual report of like, oh, here we go. Yeah. So it's by Talon Hadley. Bulls didn't want to wait on Warriors before Zach LaVine traded Kings. So here's what was reported. In addition, Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton II, Kevon Looney, and other assets would have had to be traded to the Bulls and another team for cap reasons. Now, it is also worth noting that neither Jonathan Kuminga nor Moses Moody were involved in these trade talks. But I think if you're the Bulls, then if you're not going to get any of the younger players, which you're not going to get Kuminga, but I was hoping for Moses Moody. But if that is the case, then you're probably going to get some sort of draft capital out of it, right? And this is a Zach LaVine trade, and that also includes Nikola Vucevic going there, okay? So it's not like only for Zach, but to me, at least from what I read, right? I personally would have done this deal. Again, I don't know what the picks would have been. Like, if they may have not gotten any picks out of it, but at least in my head, you have to do this from for the Warriors. Like, you had to have given some sort of picks if you're the Warriors, because you're getting both LaVine and Vucevic. The only reason why though that they didn't do it is because Dennis Schroeder was not able to be traded until tomorrow. So the Bulls just didn't want to wait around, and I'm just like, God, bro, like really? Like, is this the reason why we didn't trade for the Warriors instead? I also just like, I guess for Zach's sake, I also would have liked to just have seen Zach to the Warriors instead of the Kings. I know it's funny, like the whole thing about the Kings is funny just because it's like, wow, you just built the Sacramento Bulls. You have I mean, people already made the joke, but it's like you have LaVine and DeRozan, you have a 4th overall pick at power forward, you have a European center that doesn't play much defense, and you have a former Laker guard that's starting at point guard. So yes, Malik Monk is a former Laker guard starting at point guard. Keegan Murray is the 4th overall pick, and Sabonis is a center that doesn't play much defense that's European. Well, I mean, the Bulls had Lonzo Ball at point guard, LaVine and DeRozan, 4th overall pick Patrick Williams starting at power forward, and Nikola Vucevic at center. So it's very funny. Like, I understand that, but if I had to pick where LaVine was going to go between the Warriors and the Kings, I would have liked the Warriors. If I had to make a trade though, if that was the trade, okay, where you got Kevon Looney, Andrew Wiggins, GP2, and Dennis Schroeder, okay, like that would have been the trade I would have done. Like, I understand everyone's going to be like, well, you got your pick back, but I'm like, well, there is not a single player in that trade getting back you would think is like dead weight, okay? Like, the only player that has a contract past this season is Andrew Wiggins in that trade. So that's the reason why I'm a little bit upset about it, because it's like I would have loved the salary cap flexibility, but then I also think the Warriors would have been willing to give up their 1st round pick this year, and it would have been protected, but you get that. But even if they didn't give up your 1st round pick this year, I don't think you're sending out a 2nd round pick in this deal, and you would at least gain some 2nd rounders out of the deal. So at least in my opinion, it would have been worth it. I understand everyone has their opinions, and so you might think that the Spurs trade is better, or the pick back from the Spurs is better, but I just don't like that Collins and Herter are here right now. So again, I'll feel a lot better if Herter is moved, but we are stuck with Zach Collins for all of next season, so be ready to see him for a little bit. And yeah, I can live with Zach Collins only, but I can't live with both. Like, I think you need to get Herter off the roster any way possible, because he's gonna be making more money next year. He's gonna be making $17 million again next year, but it's more than this year's contract. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just it's just weird. It's just really weird. And again, it's just my opinions. I'm not here to convince anybody. So yeah, overall though, it's just, again, if people are telling me, because it's like everyone's like saying to me like, well, you don't know if there's any better deal out there, Duncan. But I'm like, if Casey Johnson is telling me that there are at least 3 other teams involved on Levine, okay, and the best you could have gotten back is your own first round pick back, I just don't think that's true. Like, I think you could have gotten more for Zach. It's just that the Bulls really wanted to make this deal because they overvalued getting their pick back, and they wanted to get this pick done now, or this trade done now, because they wanted Levine off the roster so badly, and now they get to focus on the other trades now. I'm going to really hope that whenever we do get to speak to this front office, which I don't know if we ever will past the trade deadline, but we should, because every other front office is going to speak. I'm going to hope that they don't tell me, well, we're proud that we made a 3-team deal, because that's what Chris Getz in the White Sox front office told us at this past year's trade deadline. 3-team deals. I hate the fact that Chicago front offices get proud of themselves because, wow, we pulled off a 3-team deal. That's so damn hard to do. Like, yeah, it's hard to do, but you're a front office executive. That's your job. Like, go and do it properly. Don't just do a 3-team deal just because you did it. Like, you can't be proud of yourself that, oh my God, we did it. We got a 3-team deal done. Like, awesome job, guys. Like, no, I don't give a damn that you got a 3-team deal done. Like, I don't care if it's good. Like, that's the only thing I care about, honestly. Like, if we got what a good return back, then great, you did a 3-team deal. But we didn't. I feel like we didn't do anything at all. We didn't accomplish anything in this deal. But, and my opinion. And again, I just bring up, like, if, let's say, Levine was traded to the Warriors and we were not able to get our pick back from the Spurs because the Spurs wouldn't be involved in the deal, I don't think people are complaining right now about, or saying how much, oh, it was so important that we got our pick back. Like, I think people just don't really care about it. They're just like, okay, well, we got to make sure that we're bad enough to keep our pick the next year's, which I'm like, yeah, I think we would be. But it would also be nice to get extra picks in return. That's just all I'm saying. But yeah, again, I'm done with it. We move on, because obviously we can't make the Warriors trade now. Hopefully, though, there is a Warriors trade down the line with us, because hopefully Nikola Vucevic is going there, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah, I don't know what else there is out there for the Bulls right now in terms of the trade market. Nothing about Kobe White was mentioned in this from Casey Johnson. I don't think Joe Coley mentioned anything either, which, you know, I don't even want to bring up his Twitter. That guy is just an absolute, he's just an annoying dude. So yeah, I don't really know what else there is out there in terms of for the Bulls and their and potential trade partners. But really quick sweep, just kind of looking at things like obviously we're kind of getting a better, clear picture of what, you know, teams need. But the Quentin Grimes trade today just, it threw me. I was just like, what is Dallas doing, bro? I don't understand what Dallas is doing. Well, if we're wondering if, like, the Lakers need anything from the Bulls, like, the only guy I could see them needing is maybe Lonzo or Kobe White. But it's hard to get Lonzo there, so I don't think that's ever going to happen. So Kobe White, I guess. But, you know, I think a lot of people don't want to trade with the Lakers at the moment, just due to what just happened. Like, any other Western Conference team, it's like, OKC doesn't need anything from us. Houston, no. Denver, I mean, I said Torrey Craig for them, but that obviously didn't work out. Denver is they're stuck. Like, they can't do anything, honestly. Clippers, no. Lakers, no. Grizzlies. I don't know, honestly. I mean, it's not going to be Vucevic, I'll tell you that for sure. I don't know, maybe Kobe. Maybe Lonzo, maybe. Phoenix is stuck. You can't do anything with them. Sacramento, we just made a trade with. Pelicans are not trying to win now. And the Mavericks, I think the Mavericks don't make any bigger moves anymore after what they've done. I was shocked they even traded Grimes. Like, that in itself was a shocker to me. I don't know why the Mavericks would have traded Grimes like that, but they got his replacement in Max Christie, and they have to pay Grimes soon. So still don't understand why you had to give up a second-round pick in that deal, but sure. Yeah, I don't know. Out west specifically, I don't really see any trade partners. For East, I won't lie, I could definitely see the New York Knicks wanting either Lonzo or Kobe. I mean, Kobe kind of makes a little bit more sense. It's just the money is just an issue. Like, do they have a TPE just to kind of absorb Kobe into? No, like they're in the second apron. Yeah, like unless like I guess we'd have to take back Mitchell Robinson's contract. Like this would be the deal. They just don't have any really thing to send, right? Like it's just I guess they have some picks to send. I don't know. Maybe something like this happens. But for the Bulls though, is this worth it? I don't really know honestly. Want to see what this is. 12 million? Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be opposed to this, honestly. First way burn here, now we get the Stooges. Has your potential on Montas been bumped up to like an all-star caliber? I think it's definitely been bumped up to where if obviously we have to see more of his ISO game, but I've more so gone to where I'm like, okay, I think he's like a Aaron Gordon like power forward that's going to be really good defensively and can do, you know, a little bit of everything else, right? Like rebound pretty solidly. He can sort of handle the ball and he can score a little bit, right? And he's probably not the best three-point shooter, but can shoot it at times, right? To where now I'm like, well, I don't know what the three-point shot's going to be. Obviously, you know, he's not going to be hitting 4 for 4 from here on out like every game, right? But the three-point shot, you know, it might just be still kind of just like league average. But I've now looked at him, I'm like, wow, like your defense already has just blown me away. That like you might honestly be a better defender than Aaron Gordon has turned into. And then on offense specifically, I like again, if he has an ISO game, like his dribbling is still pretty clunky right now, but obviously that'll be worked out. It's just that it's all about consistently taking advantage of your mismatches, right? That's the sort of stuff where it's like I think that's like the way I look at guys of like, okay, are you able to take like a guy one-on-one and ISO effectively and efficiently? Like that's like your way of like gauging if you're like you're an actual bona fide all-star or not. And so Buzelis has the tools. I will say he has the tools to be a guy that is almost like a constant mismatch, right? And if he's able to take advantage of the mismatch, he's gonna have that wingspan to just absolutely finish over guys and finish through traffic and not have to worry about many shot blockers. So yeah, like I've really gone from like, okay, I think you're gonna be like a solid defender, like a pretty good like interior mostly defender, to like you might honestly be like a better Aaron Gordon, where like you're pretty good on the perimeter, but you're also like your interior help rotation defense is like one of the best in the league, maybe. I hope at least, right? And then on offense, like instead of me thinking like you're gonna average like maybe 14 to 16, like yeah, I can maybe see him like consistently averaging like 18, 20. I think it still does come down to the three-point shot, but then you're looking at like third option, right? Do I think second option for him? It's gonna be hard to tell. I would need more consistency from what we saw obviously today, but that is what I am describing though. That is definitely like someone that could make an all-star game. But again though, I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself just because it's one game today, right? So if he goes out tomorrow and has a 0 for 11 performance, like, you know, then I'm looking here pretty stupid, right? So defensively, he has impressed me to the point where I'm like, I really do think that he's gonna turn into a really good defensive player. So that's not gonna go away. Like even if you're bad on offense, like that's not gonna go away. But on offense though, like that's gonna be like he's shown me a lot already that I'm like, holy crap, like that's impressive. If you can take that and hone it together and do it consistently, like you're definitely all-star level then. But that's a lot that we were looking at here. Like that's not easy. It's gonna be tough. So I'm hoping, bro, if he can become an all-star, oh my god, this saves the team. Like I'm being dead serious. Like it saves the team. Dang, Portland won today. We officially passed in the lottery position. Oh wow, that's actually that's great news, honestly. So it is no longer about keeping the pick. It's about trying to get as low as possible in the NBA standings and as high as possible in the draft standings. So that's great. That is great news. So we have a higher chance to jump into the top 4. Yay. I saw White to Magic chatter. Ooh, that's actually a good call. I'll look at that in a second. Maybe odd fit, but maybe odd, but fit-wise, I can see Ball for Hawks. They have a passing lane-based defense that likes to hustle after, heaps off-ball movement around Trey, and they just lost Johnson for minutes. Hawks have a decently deep roster. I guess I can kind of convince myself. It's just, again, the money is an issue, but yeah, I'll look at both. Fringe All-Star level. I hope if Buzel's going to become a Fringe All-Star level, I mean, I think he's overachieving, honestly. But if he goes an All-Star, I mean, oh my God, like the team is saved. They have a lot of switching on defensive end, so not worried that Lonzo is in a power forward. They slot others into that. I could see it. I'd have to look at the contracts though. Booz looks more peak Fringe All-Star, but has to show more. Might be second team defensive a year or two. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Like, I think he's probably gonna be like I think if he starts, he can average like 3 stocks a game. So I think he's gonna average like 2 blocks and 1 steal a game. So like, yeah, that's gonna get you like a defensive team, right? But obviously, guys on a defensive team doesn't mean all-star. So like, if he needs to then go out and make sure like he averages 20, like that will get you to all-star territory. And then obviously you're looking at a really, really valuable player at that point. So, but yeah, he needs to really show more for me to be like, yeah, we're right there. Portland has more wins than the Spurs. That's actually crazy. But I'm glad. I'm actually glad. Personally, I like to overshoot. Montes could be MVP. I mean, hell, yeah, sure. Let's overshoot. I've been watching the draft prospects in top 5 pretty solid. Potential #1 level talent. Not gonna lie, with the change in direction, you should check them out. Oh, Noel, yeah, I even said in that Levine stream, the Levine trade reaction stream, like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be looking into it. I haven't had time, obviously, since the Levine trade went down, but yeah, I'll be definitely checking those guys out now. Like, I haven't really been looking at draft prospects for a while, like, or like really keeping up before the draft. The last time I did that was when Donovan Mitchell was drafted. Like, I was like, that was like the one guy that I was like, I told people, like, no, Mitchell's gonna be good. Like, I was hoping the Bulls were gonna be able to like get him just somehow. But because like there were rumors that Mitchell might fall to 15 that year, but he obviously went higher, which as he should have. But yeah, I will be looking into guys now. And I'll be giving you my thoughts. It's just that you guys right now, as I said, you guys know more than me. So everything that I hear from you guys is basically my knowledge. So I'm just gonna trust you guys on it. Ace Bailey, I like. It's interesting because I've been hearing recently though that Ace Bailey's stock is falling, right? That's what people have been saying recently, just because like they keep looking at him. It's just like, well, you don't really do anything else. Like, you score the ball really damn well, but it's also like you don't really take efficient shots. But like you don't really do anything else. So I don't know if that's true or not. But again, I haven't watched, so I don't really know. At least a handful of teams are going to feel silly for letting Montes fall to 11. I do think that he probably shouldn't have fallen to 11. I can understand him not going top 5, but I was shocked that he fell to 11. Because just from everything that we've heard, that like he was going to go at bare minimum top 10. I mean, Space Bailey at 4th. I need to watch more film, but for now, that's a good value pick to me. Like, again, like, I don't know. Like, I've been hearing very contradicting things. Like, even Noel just said, like, everyone except Ace Bailey. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm just like, wow. Like, I don't know what to think of Ace Bailey. I've heard both. I've heard people say, like, damn, this guy's gonna come in and be like one of the best scorers in the league. And then I hear guys saying, like, well, his scoring, he scores in an inefficient way. And he doesn't really do anything else. Like, he doesn't really defend. He doesn't rebound. Like, he doesn't really play make. Like, it's all just kind of like score or nothing for him. And the way he scores is so inefficient that it's probably not going to translate that greatly. So I don't know. I just don't know what's right. So I'll have to go watch it myself and give you my response to it. Assuming we trade Vooch, Kobe, and Lonzo, what do you think the highest priority position of need? Steph, I clearly. There's very clearly a lack of front court guys, but in my opinion, if you're rebuilding, there really is no position of need. What is the position of need is more young talent. I don't care what the positions are. when you're rebuilding, to me, I don't really care what the roster looks like. Your job is to just go get more young talent. Like, if you have 8 point guards on the roster, but you can go and get a talented young point guard, you go and get the talented young point guard. So, at least in my opinion, that's just the way I look at it. I know a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I've always said this about rebuilding teams, that if you're rebuilding, it doesn't matter what position you need or like what position you're lacking. Your job is to just go and draft young talent or get young talent any way possible. So the last thing I want the Bulls to do is be like, okay, so we have our pick this year. We have 8 guards on the roster. Therefore, we are not going to be taking Ron Harper in this year's draft because we have a bunch of guards on the roster. We're going to be drafting a forward instead. Like, that's something, or sorry, Dylan Harper, excuse me, yeah. Like, that's something that I just, like, I would hate it. I would hate if that's how the Bulls think. And it's not just about, like, oh, well, that's a high pick, Duncan. Like, it's even, like, for future, like, or sorry, even, like, later picks. Like, let's say if you have, like, the 28th overall pick or something, it's like, well, we have a bunch of guards, therefore we're not going to draft a guard. That's where I'm just like, no, you don't. Like, if you're rebuilding, you should be drafting who you think has the best potential. That's how it should work. You should not be looking as like, oh, okay, well, we have like no forwards on the roster, therefore we should draft a forward here. Like, that's not how this is supposed to work. I think teams that are winning should be like, they can do that. Like, if they look at the team like, okay, we need shooting at the wing position, then you draft the shooter at the wing, right? But if you're rebuilding, it doesn't matter. Like, the roster construction will figure out itself. You just need to get young talent any way possible. So that's kind of my answer to that question. I don't really think there's a specific spot that we need. It's just a position. So yeah, we're basically trying to say, like, best available this year. Will we get more draft capital off the other trades? I'm hoping so. Efficiency season is a concern, but later in the season, when have a better idea of what pick will be, I don't know what that means. To watch film and stats to hone in on who. Be better watch film and stats to hone in on who. I agree. But yeah, I need to. I just have to take a lot of time. Like, it's not something I just do in a week. Like, I gotta take my time with it. Yeah, sorry, Dylan. I'm sorry. I said Ron Harper, but it's Dylan Harper. I say for year 3 of a rebuild, I would go for fit more so they can get minutes and they can actually show use for their style. It matters what the results are from the year 3 of a rebuild, because like, if you're the Detroit Pistons, of how like they were just like stuck in mud forever, like, I don't think it really would have mattered, right? Obviously now they're looking a lot better, but like, if you're in year 3 of a rebuild and like you're looking worse, like, I don't think you're like, yeah, we can now go draft a forward because we need a forward. Like, no, I think you just go draft the guy that's who you think is the best player still. But if you're on the upward trajectory and like, you know, like you have like your bona fide star, right? Like, then I can understand maybe that more. But even then, I would still kind of say just draft best player available. Like, even then, I would still say that. But yeah, I can understand it more so if you have like your trajectory correct. Okay, we might AV Breeze mentioned Magic. I want to see Magic potential trade with Kobe White. This makes a lot of sense. I mean, Magic needs shooting badly. Do they have salary cap space? I mean, I'm just looking at these contracts. I'm just like, okay, can they like absorb like salary from Kobe? So like I don't know, like you'll give me like Corey Joseph or something. So this doesn't work. Okay, like $5 million. So like I would have to like take Jet Howard, and I don't want to do that. Oh, I guess it'd be Gary Harris. That'd be the guy. Yeah. So like it'd be Gary Harris, and he has a team option for next season, so that's good. And then like draft capital. So like, I mean, like they'll give us like Boston's 2nd round pick. That's not that valuable to them. I mean, like, I don't know. This is a trade. Obviously, I would want Orlando's 2nd round pick instead, but like, I mean, I think this is kind of what I'm looking at. Year 3, and you have 2 clear star guards. Will lean a bit lean a bit depending on risk, etc. Yeah, like, if you have like 2 clear stars, like, yeah, I understand that. But like, I'm just saying, like, if it's not really clear cut, you know, I think you still draft just best player available. Not even 2 clear stars, but Trailblazers have no minutes for their guards. But also I don't like their draft choices either way. I mean, I also don't really like the Trailblazers draft choices either. So one thing that kind of worries me is the draft is fairly guard heavy, and we are very guard heavy. Well, again, though, Noel, like I don't think that really matters. Like, if you're about to rebuild here, like, you just pick best player available. Hence, also, I just, again, like, this is the reason why, again, I'm just like, get rid of Kobe, get rid of Lonzo, it's fine. Here's back to the team that drafted him. Yep, the famous Doug McDermott trade. Yeah, that definitely looked great. But I don't like that trade, not gonna lie. Kobe's still really young. I understand that. So, I don't know. Like, throw in Orlando's pick this year, then? Does that make you feel any better? Again, Kobe is, like, he's not exactly the best year. He's on his 2nd year of a 3-year contract that's pretty cheap. I don't really know if you get a first-round pick for him, but maybe. Maybe you do. Where's you at with how Bulls are? Billy won't give him the minutes. I know that. But, I mean, again, I think if you're drafting top 10, you should be giving the minutes. I know Buzelis is 11th and hasn't been given minutes, but he had to play with Levine and Vucevic this year, so I think you can give it a little bit of slack to Billy. But, no, I mean, I agree. Like, I think I am concerned with Billy, though, being the coach still. I won't lie. Magic a bit of a shit show. How is it they're 2 young stars and compatible? Oh, I won't lie, bro. Like, the Magic, since they've gotten their stars back, they've actually looked worse. It's really funny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the Magic exactly could be looking at. Like, their 3-point shooting is such a disaster at the moment that it's like, I don't know what to do. And it's funny because the guy that they signed this offseason in KCP was supposed to bring the 3-point shooting, and he's shot like a career low. I mean, let's just look at this. It's like, he hasn't been good this year for them, really. Yeah, I mean, the dude that was brought in to shoot is shooting 31% from 3-point range. Awesome. That's great if you're a Magic. You're loving this if you're a Magic fan right now. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know what the plan is, honestly, for them. Like, as a result, I'm just kind of just like, yeah, do they want Kobe? It's like a lot of their guards, honestly, just don't shoot effectively. Anthony Black, right? Like, Jet Howard's supposed to be their shooter, right? But he doesn't really play. You know, Jalen Suggs obviously isn't, like, you know, he's improved. But Franz doesn't shoot amazing. Banchero's supposed to. I don't know what Banchero's, like, his shooting percentage since he's gotten back has been, but let's see. No, I mean, it's been awful. God, okay, I didn't know it was that bad, but Jesus, that's actually crazy. Yeah, they just don't have shooters, bro. So, like, any shooter for them is just, like, very important for them. Happens often. Simmons and Embiid not suited. Both played so well. They made it work, but definitely defensively not a fit. Billy had good years there. Well, so, like, also, like, I got like Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis, someone didn't work out. My biggest thing though is, like, if I'm the Magic, I'm just hesitant to, like, make a move or to, like, get rid of one of these 2 guys, just like because the lack of offensive help they have around them maybe makes them look a lot worse. Right? Like, if these guys had the proper spacing around them, like, do they look better? And look more compatible for each other? Yeah. I just kind of, I'm like, I would just be hesitant to, like, make, like, a major move. So, like, getting Kobe, like, isn't that major of a move, I guess. James Jalen Suggs is more important than a match. Oh, he's definitely very important. I mean, I'm not like, discounting Jalen Suggs' importance, but I do think, though, like, just the kind of the way that they look, that the team construct itself is a problem. Yeah. Kobe fits real well on that team, to be honest. I agree. I think Kobe would actually fit pretty well on that team. Bosh should not keep me Butler over Harris and some bad luck, or take your pick. Maybe take Doc, not knocking on doors, but with 2 not fitting stars. He's shooting better than his team average. Oh, I'm aware, yeah. I mean, Kobe's still not, he's not having an amazing year, but he's still shooting like 36% from 3. So, like, yeah. Suggs their perimeter defense on Magic, but I mean, they're supposed to obviously still be pretty solid without Jalen Suggs on defense, but I get it. LeBron and Luka is going to be weird, silly fit. Oh, I agree. But obviously, LeBron's not going to be here. I mean, at least I think he's not going to play the next 5 years, but we'll see. It matters for sure, though, with stars. No, I definitely agree. I definitely agree that there has to be like a pecking order of like, okay, you're the main playmaker, you're then the secondary guy. Like, I agree with that completely. It's just that I don't know if the Magic have had the opportunity to see how these guys work with proper spacing. Like, KCP was supposed to be the proper spacing, and he shot 31% this season. Like, that's not great, you know? Like, he's supposed to be their shooter. But honestly, with the way that it's looked like, it might honestly just be that if you go and put on an Orlando Magic jersey, you can't shoot threes anymore. Like, that might honestly be the thing for them. And it's a weird curse to have, but that might be the thing. Fox and Halliburton. Okay, I won't lie, though. We did not get to see that work out. But sure, we can also throw that in that category. LeBron might be playing off Luka, though. I think what's going to have to happen for the Lakers, at least this year, is that LeBron has to go and play like more off ball. Like, LeBron's going to have to like actually like go to power forward, and like he's going to have to be the guy that like sets the screens and like imagine a LeBron Luka pick and roll. Like, Luka's the ball handler, LeBron's the screener. Like, that's kind of what I'm looking at as like the main source of the Lakers offense, right? Like, that's going to have to kind of be the way it works. And you take advantage of LeBron's great passing in the pick and roll sets. So oh, it's talking about KCP there. Oh, that's what you're talking about, Mango Man? Oh, you're talking about KCP's 31% is better than the entire Magic team. That is also true. Yep, that is also true. Oh my god. Yeah. It's also having coverage different team needs. It's rebounding, a shot blocker, and on-ball defender. Yeah. LeBron center minutes when Hayes is off. I could see it. I won't lie. I could definitely see it. Like, they have DFS, so like I think that's enough to kind of work around like some lineups where it's like you have enough front court size. I'm gonna follow the Kings for Zach / DeMar the same way I'll follow Red Sox for Garrett, Sheila, and Liam. Oh my god. I'll be following the Kings just to see how Levine does. But I'm just interested to see how that team's gonna work, because like it'll be very funny if the Kings actually like, go and like have like a very good team with that roster, and it just shows you like the Bulls were like, I guess the front office was correct that they were just a Lonzo Ball injury away from having a good team. But I don't have faith, honestly. It's more so just about how like I don't think Levine and DeRozan really work that great. So like at least the way that they currently play right now. Like, I think Malik Monk and Levine's going to be okay. I think the Levine-Sabonis pick and roll is going to be great. It's just that I don't think DeRozan's going to work out too well with everyone there. So, at least in my opinion, what needs to happen is that they need to, like, DeRozan needs to go back to being, like, the point guard he was in San Antonio. And so then he's not really looking to score that much. Like, he is strictly going to be like the playmaker. So like he's the guy that's going to be averaging like now, like instead of him averaging like, you know, 20 plus like 22 or whatever, he's going to be averaging like maybe 20 or maybe like 18 or whatever. And just be more willing to just be ready just to pass the ball. But even then, like that just sounds bad. Like I honestly think they might need to look to just move DeRozan after this deal. But I don't know. I just don't know how this is going to work for them. I really have doubts in my head. LeBron played off ball for Reeves earlier this year, and it's what caused him to shoot like ass. Oh boy, then. I don't know what the solution is for Lakers then. LeBron and Luka might be one of the closest styles we could see to Bird and Magic in Olympics. Oh, yeah, maybe. They need a facilitator for sure, but I think the Zach / DeMar fit issues are overstated. Really? I don't think they're overstated. I think the problem with those two guys is just that they both need the ball in a sense. I know Levine can be more off ball, but the problem with DeRozan having the ball is that he just takes inefficient shots, right? Like the way I always looked at it is just like look at Tatum and Brown, for example. Like, both guys need the ball, but they both shoot threes and they both take efficient shots at the basket. But with Levine and DeRozan, you have DeRozan who really needs the ball and can play off ball, or can't play off ball, Zach also sort of needs the ball, but can also play off ball. But when DeRozan has the ball, he plays so inefficiently that it's not gonna work. To me, that's the issue with them together. Like, I think DeRozan needs a Levine, right? But Levine playing next to DeRozan is an issue. I just don't know how that's possible for Zach, especially without a good overall defensive team surrounding them and great three-point shooting. I will say the three-point shooting should be better than the Bulls, so that's there. But they've also had a kind of a rough year three-point shooting wise. But Zach's gonna help there. But having some bonus there, I think, will make it a little bit better at least. We could get the Lakers first for Vooch, delusional, but that's what happens when you're a Bulls fan. I mean, bro, I would love the Lakers first for Vucevic. It's not gonna happen. I don't see it working, by the way, LeBron and Magic, but it's like the first stylistic pairings that comes to mind. My only thing is this is just like, I honestly think there is an argument to be made with LeBron and Luka that, like, with LeBron not actually having all the attention on him, like, there's just a different way of playing, right? I actually think that, like, if Luka is gonna draw that much attention, then LeBron doesn't need, like, to shoot the threes, honestly. Like, he doesn't, like, need to be, like, a great three-point shooter, which he's shooting, like, 37% this year. Like, I think there's a way it can work. Just like every team, though, like, you're gonna need the surrounding pieces to really help you, but I think there's a way it can work with those two together. It's just someone does have to sacrifice, though. Like, I do think it's gonna have to be LeBron. I think LeBron's gonna have to sacrifice. But I mean, I feel like he should be at age 40 now. Like, he should be the one to sacrifice. Did you guys up at the talks about KD to the Mavs next? I have not talked about it. I just don't know how it's possible. Like, I've looked into that deal. Like, I really quickly, like, checked, like, how the Mavs could figure that out. I don't know how that's possible. Like, I know there's a potential possibility, but, like, if you're the Phoenix Suns, you want every pick possible back, right? And so, like, the Mavericks, their pick in 2027 is only 1 through 2. I mean, I guess now they have the Lakers pick, so sure. So I guess they have that 2029 pick now, but it's like, I don't think it's like like the 2027 pick not being in full control for the Mavericks. I don't think their draft capital is that enticing for the Suns. Not to mention you don't have any second rounders to trade either. But, like, money wise, how do you even do it? Like, it's Klay Thompson, it's PJ Washington, right? I mean, you can't aggregate Caleb Martin. And it's Najee Marshall, right? It would be this. Like, this doesn't even work. So you have to add in Daniel Gafford to the deal. That still doesn't even work. So now what? Like, does that Dwight Powell work? Nope, that doesn't work either. And you're hard capped by the first apron. Wait, yeah, you're hard capped at the first apron. Oh my god, bro. Yeah, I just don't think this is possible, bro. Like, you can't aggregate Caleb Martin, so, like, Najee Marshall? But then the Phoenix Suns can't acquire more than they're sending out. Like, I've gone through, like, the scenarios on this deal. I don't know how it's possible. Because, like, one team, like, if it's like one team is taking too much money, then the other team is fine. Like, then if you try to flip it, the other team is taking too much money then. Because the Phoenix Suns are, like, with their salary cap situation, they're in the second apron. So, well, however much money they're sending out, which in this case would be 51 million, that's how much money they can take back. Like, they can't take back more than 51 million. For the Dallas Mavericks, though, they're hard capped at the first apron. So if they take in too much, like, they're basically at the first apron already. So you can barely even take any more money back in the first place. So there is no wiggle room. I just don't think it's possible. There has to be some, like, if it is possible, it has to be some other deal. Has to involve multiple other teams then. Like, this just to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Just salary reasons, it doesn't seem to be possible for me. Like, you're showing better options than Vooch at the moment. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. KD Golden State Warriors next, not Mavs. I mean, I prefer KD went to Golden State, but we'll see if that does happen. Zach and DeMar both have like career low usage percentage this season. I understand that's great, but the weird thing about that now is that I think they both have to increase their usage percentage now. Because, I mean, unless Monk is going to become like the main ball handler for that squad, like, I think actually now they're going to have to kind of be the guys. And, you know, you just kind of run everything with Sabonis. One will have to sacrifice, but it's going to have to look like that, honestly. The Lakers need is defense. Their team's best defender is Dorian Finney-Smith, for God's sake. I agree. But, I mean, it's not all about this year for the Lakers. I mean, it'd be great, but, you know. Lakers need Williams and Claxton as backup options. I mean, yeah. That's obviously priority number one. For sure, no. LeBron still offers his transition chase downs, but mostly it. I mean, even then, I don't even count that. I'm just like, half-court defense is going to be garbage. Yeah, both Luka and LeBron are cones. Yeah, they're both cones at the moment. Who's going to defend SGA in a series on Lakers at the moment is an issue to me. They're short on defensive player and rim protector. It would be Austin Reeves, but yeah, I agree. But again, it's not all about this year, right? Like for them, like they're probably trying to figure things out and how to manipulate the cap and be like, okay, here's what our needs are. But first things first, right? They got to play together, right? Like you don't really know what you can like these guys need until you play together. I think you obviously like you have an idea, but there might be an actual more need for like a guard or something, even with these guys. Like it's weird, but you don't really know. Like, they got to play together first, which is just unfortunate for them because Luka's gonna come back at the trade like after the trade deadline. So they're gonna have to kind of make some decisions before seeing them together, and then I think the offseason's the more important thing, right? Like they're gonna have to really get creative in the offseason and get the proper team around Luka and LeBron. It's very doable. They still have assets. Like that's the thing. They have plenty of assets to go ahead and make those deals that they need. Rob Williams would be a good pickup. Oh, I mean, yeah, he would be an incredible pickup for Luka and others. Young as well. Yeah, I mean, he'd be perfect. I'm really gonna be interested, honestly, to see how Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford look without Luka. That's gonna be something I'm gonna be interested in because those guys really depended on Luka for the lobs, right? So that's gonna be interesting to watch. But pretty much though, if you're the Lakers, you need to go find your Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively's, right? I think Lively obviously has more potential. But yeah, getting a Rob Williams would be great. Get a Thompson, Suggs, Daniels type that's cheaper. I forgot the guy who's underrated that they have mentioned before in the league, barely getting playing time. I unfortunately don't know who you're talking about. Lonzo sounds like the guy to get. I mean, yeah, Lonzo is a guy, right? The problem again is the 20 million. So it just, I mean, I've talked about it. I don't know how this works because unless you're going to be willing to give up something important, like it doesn't seem very feasible. Like I don't think giving it Rui for Lonzo is worth it. So I mean, let's see. Hold on. I want to see something. So like this doesn't work, but like, am I able to just do this instead though? Okay, no, this. Yeah. 110% is the issue. This is so rough. I mean, it would have to include Gabe Vincent, right? Oh, the spot track break. Oh my god, I can't click on anything. Oh, wait, that's right. Oh, I'm so stupid. I forgot Maxi Kleber. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna say right off the bat, if you're the Bulls, you don't do this deal. because you're taking on Vanderbilt's contract and Gabe Vincent's contract. Like, there's no reason to do this deal. I'm just like, this is what it would have to be. So like, unless the Lakers are willing to give up Rui, right? Like, it'd be Rui for Lonzo. And even then, that doesn't even work. Sure, give us Cam Reddish. No, that doesn't work either. Oh my. Give us Christian Wood. God, even that doesn't work, bro. You can't aggregate him, so sure, we'll do this then. Unfortunately, I mean, sure, we'll send. Does this work? Let's see. No, okay, this doesn't work then. Minimum. Oh, hey, this works. There you go. All right, we're bringing the Lakers guards back to the Lakers, so we get Rui, Christian Wood, and Cam Reddish. There you go. It's just like, basically what I'm saying though is just it's so hard. It's very hard to do. Because if you're wondering about the Maxi Kleber, so again, you can't aggregate Maxi Kleber with other contracts right now because that doesn't work. Yeah, so rough overall. To be honest, Lakers not losing a lot there. I mean, they're not losing a lot, but if you're the Bulls, it's not. I don't know if it's worth it unless you're getting like 4 second rounders out of it or something like that. Maybe they flip their future pick like how Suns did it, like with like the Thunder or something. I don't know about that. That's hard to pull off. Yeah, again, like, I don't think the Lakers could be just willing to trade Rui like this. And also them trading Christian Wood, it's also kind of like it's a scary thing because they just don't have any centers at the moment. So I don't really think they're gonna be willing to trade him. Same with Jackson Hayes. So, and you can't aggregate Sheik Milton, so you can't aggregate him. So unless you're willing to trade Bronny, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's possible. It'd be very hard to do. Because again, like, I mean, is there a world where I feel like this is worth it for the Bulls, where you take Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt, who again, Jared Vanderbilt, if you're not aware, he's making, like, he's under contract for a bit here, but I mean, first year of a contract, it's not that much money. It's just I don't really want extra money on my books, and he hasn't played all season. So, or has he? I don't even know if he's played, but I don't think he's played all season long. So, he's played 4 games. Okay. I mean, if I'm the Bulls, then I'm like, okay, I need a first. Like, dead ass. Like, it sounds crazy, but like, I need a first. This is sent to the Mavericks, so this isn't a thing. Yeah, I don't know, pick swap or something. Like, it's so hard. And they only have 2 seconds to trade, and this one has protection, so it's like you only get 1 second rounder out of it. So I think it's chalked. Another team that will get picks if they trade players. Thunder can draft themselves and trade off players they don't like, as they have been doing for ages. Oh yeah, I mean, that's the plan for the Thunder. They're set for life. Half their players don't get minutes, or a season or 2 ago, our stars are getting decent minutes on other teams now. Oh yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing with the Thunder. Like, the Thunder, I mean, I don't know if they thought the SGA was going to actually turn into an MVP candidate, but it definitely helped them. But the whole plan, again, is just like, it's not necessarily about like, okay, we need to get a high pick in the draft. Their whole plan was just, okay, we are just going to draft a ton of guys and we see who sticks. And if we think this guy is like just not a part of our future, we just move him. He's gone. Like, that's the whole plan. So I honestly just, like, that's the reason why when I tell people, like, when I want to rebuild, that's kind of my plan too. Like, yes, getting a high overall pick is nice, but the idea of you trading for that is pretty unlikely. So you're probably just going to be settling for either seconds or late first round picks, right? And that's fine. But I would do anything in my willpower to just accumulate as many as possible. Just accumulate as many as you can. Hence, again, trade Vooch, trade Lonzo, trade Kobe. Like, just get the guys off for future assets, and you're looking a lot better moving forward. Even Waters, who was on a 2-way, gets decent minutes at the moment. Yeah. Thunder have so many guys, bro. Like, I swear to God, Daignault, like, changes his rotation almost every day just to make sure, like, different guys get some minutes. Barry Misic, yeah. They have so many guys, bro. Like, not Jada, but the big man Jalen Williams, like, he now, like, I mean, he was in a lot of lineups for the Thunder when it was previous years. He's just not playing right now. Like, he's getting some minutes, but he's just not playing as much. And I promise to you, when Chet Holmgren gets back, he probably won't play at all. Like, it's these sort of things, like, with the Thunder, like, they just have this luxury at the moment, and they've done a fantastic job with it. Like, they know what they're doing. Such a nice dude, big locker room ad. Oh, I'm sure. He was also injured for a bit, but yeah. Okay. All right. I know we didn't get to film breakdown tonight, but don't worry, we have tomorrow. So yeah, I'll probably do some film breakdown tomorrow, especially with Buzelis and others that they're performing pretty well. This is gonna be rough for the Bulls. Like, you know, it's nice that you put up a nice offensive performance against the Miami Heat, but in a back-to-back where you're going to Minnesota, I have more doubts about you continuing to get offensive performance, especially without Levine. But hey, prove me wrong. Go ahead and do it. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how this one's gonna go for them. Are the Wolves playing tonight? I don't think the Wolves are playing tonight, right? Yeah, okay, they're not playing tonight. So the Wolves will be fresh. You're on the second game of back-to-back. Obviously for the Bulls, they don't have any of the new guys, right? So no Collins, no Trey Jones, no Kevin Huerter. So it's gonna be interesting to watch this as they try to kind of figure this all out. We'll see who else will be available for that game, because we had no Dalen Terry today, no THT today. And oddly enough, none of the two-way players play, which I thought we might get some run of that, but none of those guys played. So I'll be interested to see who is available, and then who Billy Donovan does play in this one. How the Bulls offense is going to look overall, and honestly, who will be here still. Because that is kind of how we have to kind of start talking. It's just like at the trade deadline, we don't know who's going to be here still. A trade could happen later tonight. I know it's like almost 1 a.m. here, but like a trade could happen later tonight. So it is, you know, it is what it is at this point when it comes to this sort of stuff. So who is still here come tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. So we'll be very interested to see who's going to be available and who is still on the team. If the Bulls have made any other moves, which we'll immediately talk about when we can. So yeah, I'll be available to talk in the afternoon, not in the morning though. I will not be available to talk in the morning. So if deal does go down in the afternoon, I will be able to kind of probably talk with you guys immediately on stream. But if a deal does go down in the morning, it's gonna have to wait until later in the afternoon for me to talk about it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I have Thursday off from work, so I might stream on Thursday just for the trade deadline and just see what, you know, just kind of react to some of the trades that happen at the trade deadline. We'll see which way it goes this year, because I know that I've done this also where I thought that there would be a lot of trades and like nothing happened. So I'll be just kind of, you know, I'll be seeing what's gonna happen at the deadline, and be watching kind of everything, and everyone's gonna be watching Shams and others tweets, notifications, stuff like that. So be prepared for that on Thursday. All right, thank you guys so much for the stream tonight. It's, you know, obviously a nice Bulls win and a long talk about trade stuff and other possibilities. I appreciate you guys talking with me. If you have not already hit the like button on stream, please do. It helps me out a ton. Yeah, come back tomorrow. We got more to talk about tomorrow. Obviously the game, we got to talk about that, and then we can go ahead and talk about if there were any trades that did happen. We can talk about that immediately, whether it's Bulls or just NBA trades. And then we can talk about other potential ideas for the last, like, I don't know, what it would be at that point, like last 12 hours of the trade deadline at that point. So yeah, we'll be going and doing that tomorrow. And hopefully the Bulls make some moves. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for tonight. I do have to go to bed though, as I do have work tomorrow. And I'll see y'all tomorrow after the Bulls take on the Timberwolves. All right, thank you guys so much. Ad's gonna play after the stream, so stick around if you want to give me some ad revenue. And I'll see y'all next time. Stay warm.